Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into another edition of high school basketball on Next Level Broadcasting. Charles Trail and Dennis Halverson here bringing you tonight's game, actually two games tonight, between the Charlevoix Raiders and the Gaylord Blue Devils, live from Charlevoix High School. Happy to have you in, making us a part of your Tuesday mid-evening, I should say, as we got an early tip here at 5:30 for the girls' game. Boys varsity game to follow. It should be an excellent night of high school basketball tonight for everybody tuning in the basketball and basketball fans as well.
Well, double the pleasure, double the fun. You're going to hear us 2 games straight. Some people might be cheering, others might be saying, oh my gracious, can I take that? Yes, you can. Sit back, relax, and enjoy 2 great basketball games. I'm really looking forward to seeing, especially this girls' first night out here playing a big Gaylord team, and they've started the tip, and here we go. Go ahead, Charles.
All right, well, Avery Parker's going to slice and dice inside the paint and draw a foul. She'll go to the free throw line. Parker up for all-state honors as a junior last year. She is a senior and has been on varsity for 4 years of her high school basketball career, Dennis. So look for her to be aggressive early and on to kind of get things going for the Blue Devils so far. And she gets the first points of the evening from the free throw line for the Blue Devils.
But you know this Gaylord team pretty well. Gaylord and Gaylord St. Mary's are kind of a little bit in your backyard.
Yeah.
So looking forward to some insight and some kind of behind-the-curtain kind of special info.
Well, I do know this team fairly well, seeing them over the last 2 years of basketball season, as they have a lot of good athletes and pressure the ball continuously as the Raiders try to go inside, and that's cleared by Parker and the Blue Devils as they look to push and transition.
Well, Charlevaux's got some size this year. I look forward. It's their first game here tonight. But looking forward to seeing some of the seniors and how they've progressed over this summer, especially Abby Wright. Keep your eye on number 5, Abby Wright, who I think has some size. I think one thing you got to admit, Charles, the Raiders, Lady Raiders, have got some size this year in the middle.
As there's a traveling violation called against the Blue Devils, and the Raiders force their first turnover of the contest.
Well, it's a first for me here. I've been doing Raider basketball here in the house that Haskey built for 20 years, and we also were up in the Crow's Nest, which I never liked it up there. We, ladies and gentlemen, a first for me and a first for broadcasting Raider basketball, we are courtside.
And it's a completely different perspective as the Blue Devils force a turnover for the first turnover of the afternoon for the Raiders, and there's a three-pointer from the corner. No good. Offensive rebound by Avery Parker. She's got 4 points to lead the way for the Blue Devils. Got it off to go, and you can tell, Dennis, why she earned those accolades as an All-Stater last year.
Yeah, you got to block her out. You can't give her that much room to get down and grab that rebound. Raiders kind of let up defensively there. She never should have had that easy a shot and put back. That could be trouble for the Raiders if they don't get a handle on that one real quick.
Raiders working to go inside into the post, and it's taken away by the Blue Devils. It's the second Raider turnover of the evening as the Blue Devils go inside and out. Finding Parker. She'll jab step, put it down. 8-foot floater. It's no good. Snags her own offensive rebound, and the Blue Devils with an extra possession. And it's stolen by the aforementioned Abby Wright, and she's got it 1-on-2, and it's tapped out of bounds. Nice play on defense by Kennedy Wangler, and we have our first substitution of the game. It will be Anna Kep checking in for Sarah Weiglandowski for the Raiders.
Well, Kemp, another senior, looking forward to seeing her progression this year in her final year as a Lady Raider basketball player. It was kind of fun to watch these kids start out in JV and end up here their senior year, and how much a lot of them have improved.
As the Raiders had that one going to the backcourt, but they're able to control it. Nice defensive play by Carson Pointer for the, I'm looking at the boys
they're right
varsity
next to
basketball roster. That was Addison McDonald who got the defensive block on Abby Wright.
Yeah, keep to your left there on the
sheet, yeah.
On the sheet, yep.
Raiders and Blue Devils. Just about 3 minutes into this contest, it's a 4-0 lead for the Blue Devils. And they go over to corner shot. It's Abby Wright, too strong, and rebounded by Avery Parker. That's already her 4th rebound of the game. And she unfortunately steps on the line, and it'll be Raider basketball on the sideline.
No,
so a little nerves here in the first game.
Little nerves, yeah. Again, we talked, and I asked you the question. I didn't remember the answer. I know for sure this is the Lady Raiders' first game of the year. Is it same for the Gaylord Blue Devil ladies?
I believe so. I know the Gaylord boys played on Friday night against Traverse City West, but I don't believe it was a girls and boys varsity doubleheader against the conference opponent in Traverse City West. So for as far as I can tell, it's the first game of the year for the Blue Devils as well.
So both teams coming in here tonight undefeated.
Yeah. We can
way
say
to look
that.
at it, yeah. I got 21, Deanna Collins, who also had a lot of game last year. She's a shooter. Probably playing a lot of horse with her brother out in the driveway, who plays on the varsity team.
I tell you what, when a shooter gets that kind of roll from the free throw line, first free throw of the attempted game, that's a good sign.
Yep.
Anytime a three-point specialist can get to the free throw line, as Kemp controls the offensive rebound and gets an extra possession for the Raiders.
Yeah, the Lady Raiders playing a couple weight classes above their typical clientele that they would play. Gaylord, a big Class A school. Charlevoix, obviously not. But this will be a big test here tonight for the Lady Raiders on how they fare against this big Gaylord squad.
Avery Parker now with it for the Blue Devils, as the Blue Devils up 4-1 early on. There's a middle drive baseline, ball swung around once again. I'm impressed with how this Blue Devil team moves the ball, Dennis, as they get it inside to Parker, and a jump ball is called. Possession error will favor the Raiders. But just watching how the Blue Devils move the ball around offensively on the perimeter and then get those cuts inside, you can see that this team has the makings to have some potential.
Yeah, a lot of passing around, good ball movement by Gaylord, but Charlevoix showing some spunk here.
As that one was almost stolen away by Addison McDonald, and it was off the foot of a Raider, I believe, so it'll be Gaylord basketball.
Yeah. Again, kind of a little bit of a sparse crowd for this first game here on a Tuesday night in Raiderville, the house that Haskey built.
Well, I would imagine this place will get heating up, right around second quarter, halftime. Not oftentimes do you see both varsity teams playing the same night. It's kind of a treat. It's a BOGO.
Yeah.
2 for the price of one
like
admissions ticket.
Yep. Just like a Big B's BOGO. We got a Raider BOGO here tonight.
There we go. Brought to you by Next Level Broadcasting, as there's a nice baseline drive, but unable to get it to drop was Carly Eaton, and following it back up. And Eaton gets the offensive rebound and the 2 points.
I love when they follow their shot. Good things happen when you follow your shot, and that was a great example.
4-3 the score. Baseline drive shut off by Boss, and that's her first personal foul.
Yeah, she didn't get over there, and like I've mentioned 12,700,000 times before, you play defense with your feet, and Ava did not get in front of the ball there and picked up the blocking foul.
Post entry to Parker. Kicks it out to an open shooter. 15-foot jump shot. No good. Rebound inside to Avery Parker. And looks like this one's on the floor. Gaylord with it on the offensive possession. And that one's stolen by Boss on the hammer pass. And the Raiders have it coming across the timeline.
You know what word I would use, Charles, so far for the Lady Raiders?
Grit?
Scrappy.
Okay.
They are showing some scrappy here early on.
As that one's turned over by the Raiders, and checking in back into the game will be Emma Meadows. She'll replace Ava Boss for the Raiders, and a timeout is taken on the floor. 30-second timeout taken by the Blue Devils. And while we have that, we want to thank our sponsor tonight in Charlevoix Auto and let you know that Charlevoix Auto is raffling off a 65-inch LED TV.
Oh, baby.
With a value of about $2,000. All you got to do is stop into Charlevoix Auto and go in to their Chevy dealership and then stop next door to their Chrysler Dodge dealership. Both dealerships are decorated in Christmas themes, and they're battling against one another. So go in to the Chevrolet dealership of Charlevoix Auto and cast your vote for which store had the best Christmas setup, and you'll be entered to win the 65-inch LED TV, and that is going on until December 21st at Charlevoix Auto.
I'd have to borrow one of their trucks to get that baby home.
Yeah.
It wouldn't fit in my car.
Or maybe they could set you up with a van like they did for us when we went up to Menominee for the playoff game.
Yeah.
That was so nice of them. As the Blue Devils get the offensive board, no good. Rebounded by Anna Kemp, and she's going to travel. She was harassed by a couple of Blue Devil defenders there. Kudos to the Blue Devils to realizing that Kemp kind of wanted to move before she put the ball down on the floor.
Yeah, so far offense on both sides a little cold. We haven't seen many jump shots. Most of the points are in the paint for both sides, so looking forward to seeing that first three-pointer from anybody or even a jump shot.
Parker with all 4 points for the Blue Devils, and that's a push called on Abby Wright. That will be, I believe, her first foul. That'll be the third foul on the Raiders. It's a 4-3 game with 2.5 to play in the first quarter.
Deanne Collins has gotten taller since her junior year.
Yep.
She has become, I don't know, she's one of the bigger players now. There's a lot of size there, a lot of length.
Oh, yeah, as the Raiders got that offensive rebound, it was Parker inside who couldn't get it to go as the Raiders push it in transition. And it's swung on the perimeter to Collins. And there's a drive into the paint by Anna Kemp. Rotating it to right. Corner goes to Collins. 3-pointers away. Too short. And Parker with the transition look ahead up the floor. And getting it to go off the window was Addison McDonald. And Coach Kepke didn't like the looks of that transition basketball. So he takes the 30-second timeout. And while he takes the 30-second timeout, we're going to tell you about our friends at Bingham Insurance. Listen, Bingham Insurance, everything in life is a risk, and especially risky when it comes to your home and auto insurance. That's Bingham Insurance, representing auto insurance in Charlevoix. Give them a call. Tell them we sent you from Next Level Broadcasting over to our friends at Bingham Insurance. They can get you a quote and get you out the door, get you covered for everything that you need, covering your home, your life, your car, and especially with a lot of teen drivers coming up, it's nice to have those cars covered and insured when, the occasional 16-year-old gets in the fender bender.
Yeah, and I bought an umbrella policy from them, so they're a full-service agency. If you have any insurance needs, make sure you go down and spend some time with one of our great sponsors who helps bring these games all winter long right to the comfort of your front room.
Also want to give a shout-out to our friends at the Gaylord Eye Care Center. Listen, Gaylord Eye Care Center wants to get you back in the game with 4 locations in Gaylord, Bel Air, Sheboygan, and Boyne City. There's no reason why you can't stop in to get your eyes checked for a free consultation. And tell them that if you're a referee of basketball, they'll give you a free consultation as well, helping make basketball great. That's the Gaylord Eye Care Center, proud sponsor of tonight's game as the Raiders have another turnover. It's 6-3, Blue Devils on top with minute 50 remaining in the first quarter. Parker looks at the three, head fakes, and the Blue Devils working it around the perimeter. They really make an effort, the Blue Devils do, to get it inside as that one's swiped away by Abby Wright as she pushes it up in transition by herself and eventually finds a point guard. Wright goes inside to Collins, and reach-in foul is going to be called against Kennedy Wangler. That will be her first foul, team's second foul. So not too many fouls on this occasion for each team. And
well, I'm looking forward to see the Wright-Collins team up and get better as this season goes on. They got some size. They've obviously got the skill set. They're both seniors. And if Charlevoix has a shooter on their team from down deep, it's going to be Collins.
And there's the aforementioned Abby Wright going inside against Addison Wangler, and Wright earns a trip to the free throw line. Only the third team foul against the Blue Devils. Fouls evened at 3 apiece, and Wright goes to the free throw line for her first potential points of the evening.
Well, Wright's bread and butter is the paint and the baseline. That's where you want to get down low to her, get that ball to her. And Collins, quite the opposite. I think her skill set and where she had a lot of success last year was that outside jumper and especially that three-point shot.
Second free throw is good for Abby Wright at the charity stripe, and it's 6-4. Blue Devils on top of the Raiders. Avery Parker with it on the floor. She's going to pull the transition three-pointer, rims out, and taps controlled to the Blue Devils. Offensive rebound coming to, it was Alexis Shepard who has it now. She also got that rebound. Corner it goes to Parker, three-pointer, good.
It's got to be the shoes, man. She's got the brightest shoes out there.
And she's got 7 of the 9 Blue Devil points as well, leading scorer in the game. As Anna Kemp gets
move.
that one, doing a good job of snaking that dribble into the paint. Off the window it goes, and it's back to a 9-6 game. 35 seconds remaining in the first quarter. There's the shot, a little bit too strong off the rim for Alexis Shepard, but rebound controlled by the Blue Devils. Swung around the perimeter to Parker again, tees up another three, too strong. Nice offensive rebound, and the Blue Devils can't get it to go. Killing the Raiders on the offensive glass, though. And with 14 seconds left, the Blue Devils look like they're going to hold for the last shot of the quarter. Parker flings it to Shepard. Shepard trying to get it inside, and it's taken away by Kemp. Kemp with 2 seconds. It's to Collins, and that's going to do it after 1 quarter of play. We got a 9-6 game between the Gaylord Blue Devils and the Charlevoix Raiders. It's, well, a little bit of what we thought this game was going to be coming into it, but can't complain. Very competitive first 8 minutes of basketball here from Charlevoix High School. We're going to step aside and be back in a minute on Next Level Broadcasting's coverage of Gaylord and Charlevoix High School basketball.
All business owner, you learn to wear a lot of hats. The custodian hat, the IT hat, and well, the you should have called a professional hat. Auto Owners takes care of your business insurance, so you can take care of everything else. That's simple human sense.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
There, Hannah again with Charlevoix Auto. Don't let summer pass you by. Get into a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram today and make this the summer event. Lease a sleek new Compass for an amazing $339 a month. Elevate your journey in a stylish Grand Cherokee for $429 a month. Or unleash the power of a 4x4 Ram pickup for $459 a month. Don't miss out in getting into your perfect ride for less at Charlevoix Auto on US 31 South near the Charlevoix Airport. Your trusted local dealership.
All right, welcome back into the second quarter action here on Next Level Broadcasting. Blue Devils ahead of the Raiders 9-6 after 8 minutes of play. Charles Strel and Dennis Halverson here from Charlevoix High School, enjoying a good one between Blue Devils and Raiders. It's Gaylord has the first possession to start this quarter. Key moments for the Blue Devils as Avery Parker is not out there. She's on the bench catching a little bit of a breather right now, Dennis, as Anna Kemp, or excuse me, Eaton goes all the way down, but Biani Collins scoops up the offensive rebound, and she'll go to the free throw line. Her second trip to the charity stripe.
Yeah, I really like the Lady Raiders' spunk here tonight. First game, doesn't seem to be any jitters, or they seem pretty confident, pretty willing to scrap up with a much bigger Gaylord team.
Let's just keep an eye on like a little bookmark here. Parker went out to start the second quarter, and it's now a 2-0 Charlevoix run to begin the second quarter. So we'll see how much time Parker gets to rest here before she checks back into the game, Dennis.
Well, Charlevoix's got to make a little hay here with her on the bench.
Yes. Key player for the Blue Devils getting some rest early on in the second quarter as the Blue Devils go inside, but it's stolen away.
Great defense.
That was a nice three-quarter front by Abby Wright, and the Blue Devils turned it over. Eaton running the show for the Raiders. Swung over to Collins. Collins puts her head down, and I think that one was partially blocked. And the Blue Devils will bring this one back up the floor, led by Carly Pretzloff and Addison Wangler. They swing it around the perimeter, get a little high ball screen. That one might have been deflected out of bounds, but turned over nonetheless. And here we go, exactly 1 minute into the second quarter. Avery Parker checks in. So she got the quarter break rest in 1 minute in the second quarter, and she's back on the floor for the Blue Devils.
Hey, talk about the call. This is an experienced referee team here tonight. The three people I've seen, at least one of them refereeing for 20 years. So we've got a pretty good draw here tonight, and the refereeing and officiating should not be an issue here with these three on the floor.
As that was a double dribble called against Biani Collins. It's 9-8 Blue Devils on top. Just about 6 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, you got to have a hand in Parker's face every minute she's got the ball.
Raiders dropping into a zone look here as that one's rebounded by Abby Wright, and she wants to take off with it down the floor, trying to dribble through the Gaylord defense, and she's fouled on her driving attempt trying to get to the basket. That's the second team foul of the quarter for the Blue Devils. The foul was called against Addison McDonald.
I'd like to see her with that situation do that outlet pass. It's really difficult to dribble through a couple, three Gaylord players, and that kind of jammed things up. Luckily, the Raiders got that back. But I think you got to be looking for that outlet pass on a breakaway like that.
Carly Eaton Kemp working it around the perimeter, trying to get it inside to Collins, and that one's turned over. You know, Dennis, I'll say this. Both these teams have had troubles with turnovers. The thing that is keeping the Raiders in this game is that they've been getting a lot of steals, whereas the Raider turnovers have been dead ball out of bounds, kind of thrown out of bounds, as opposed to the steals that they've been forcing against the Blue Devils.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the issues. But, again, Charlevoix seems to be able to stick with Gaylord on the boards, at least so far. Parker's going to take another one from long.
And bang goes the dynamite as Avery Parker drops in her second three-pointer of the game.
Again, there wasn't a Lady Raider within 5 feet of her. You cannot leave her alone. She's a shooter.
Well, that's one of the adjustments the Raiders will see if they can make. Parker will eat up that zone defense. They may have to go back to a man-to-man defense as Parker tips this one away, and it will be Charlevoix basketball on the continued possession.
Kind of reminds me of the boys' game the other night when we were playing Glen Lake and Plamondon, the 28-point score of that night. We ended up triple teaming him, and they kind of shut him down when we went to that defense on him. So they're going to have to figure something out with Parker here right now, or it might be a long night for the Raiders.
As Carly Eaton hoisted up the shot, and the Blue Devils bringing it back down the floor. Avery Parker with it up top. Three-pointer for Pretzloff, rattles around and out. Everything but went through the net for Pretzloff as the Raiders are bringing this one back. That is Eaton, who finds Kemp. Kemp with the baseline drive in a flash, but couldn't get it to go off the window. And it's Avery Parker clearing all the way. Nice look-ahead pass.
Like a travel.
And a travel called.
I didn't see what Raider broke that up, but caused some interference there, which led to the turnover. So Charlevoix is not backing down 1 inch here tonight in the opening kickoff of the season, 23-24 basketball season. So I don't know if we had to be extra to get these seats here, Charles, but, man, 2 thumbs up on being this close to the action.
Well, you know, it's a nice view to watch from a couple rows up here courtside as the Raiders go to an open three-point shot from Abby Wright. No good. Inside rebound, snatched down. Nice rebound by Addison McDonald. And, man, you could see that she had position there, and she was ready for that.
Yeah, Ava Boss, those are the fouls that drive a coach crazy. That foul was 60 feet away from the basket. Didn't mean a whole lot.
Three-pointer launched and rebounded by Ava Boss. Possession arrow favors the Raiders.
You see Collins go back in. Macy McEwen is in, another senior. Giving the ball to Anna Kemp, who probably is as close to a point guard for us as we've got. She's got speed. She can handle the ball well. Doesn't turn it over much. I want to see Collins take some more, though. She can hit that shot. She's got to take a few of it, get the dust off the hinges there.
As Eaton has it, probing the paint, finds an open Raider, and that's a foul called against Parker. That will be her first foul, third team foul against the Blue Devils.
And again, that foul really didn't mean anything in the scheme of things. That
right.
Just she was out of position, committed the foul.
Yeah, Dennis, that's, your go-to. You play defense with your feet, and so for Parker, her first
nice pass.
There was a nice high-low pass from Wright to Collins, and Kennedy Wangler didn't really have a choice there but to foul Collins as hard as she could, or else that could have been the basket and the foul.
Yep. Again, I really like the Wright-Collins combination so far here tonight on the floor. Except I don't care for missing the free throw. She can make that shot as well. But again, first night, few jitters. Teams get better as the season goes on.
Second free throw, no good. Rebounded inside by the Blue Devils as Addison McDonald finds Avery Parker. Parker waiting for a couple of teammates in transition. Wangler inside to McDonald. Nice drop step off and in. I tell you what, good job by the Blue Devils of waiting for their post player to get down there, and the Blue Devils turn it over. Actually, the Blue Devils force a turnover.
Yeah, it was a quick whistle. That was a real quick whistle.
On the jump ball. But, Dennis, the point I was making there is they waited for McDonald to get all the way down there. And sometimes teams don't wait for their post player to get down in the paint as they turn it over, stolen away by Macy McCown. And Collins has it going across court, pass tipped and deflected. Good job of having active hands by Kennedy Wangler, and it'll be Raider basketball. 14-8 the score with 3 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
We're going to be seeing a lot of each other this week. We got a game here tonight, obviously, a game Thursday night here, a game Friday night here. I'm going to be seeing you more than I am my wife this week.
Well, be careful how you say that one, Dennis.
Yeah.
As Wright goes inside, the drop step through was good, and it's 14-10. A nice post move by Abby Wright.
That is her bread and butter, that move right there.
Blue Devils go inside. Nice catch and pivot and finish inside by McDonald. That was a great entry pass and an even better step-through move to get that one off the glass, and it's a 6-point game. Blue Devils up top, and now they're kind of extending out to a zone pressure look. Carly Eaton penetrates the paint. No good. Rebound fought for and controlled by the Blue Devils. As the Blue Devils changing up their defensive here, Dennis, let's see if that makes the Raiders think once or twice about just playing basketball, if it throws them out of sorts a little bit, as Collins gets the steal. And she's got a one-on-one fast break. Fouled. She'll go to the free throw line. Dennis, this will be Bayani Collins' I believe, 7th.
Yeah, I was going to guess 6th or 7th, yeah. And she's not doing well so far.
Well, the more you go there, the more you get settled in, I would say.
Yeah, we'll see here in a second.
Foul was on Carly Pretzloff.
There we go.
Her 2nd, as that free throw goes down for Collins.
Parker coming out.
Yep, so another point that we'll make a little note of. Avery Parker coming out. It's a 5-point margin for the Blue Devils, as a second free throw coming up on deck for Collins, and that one rattles around and out, rebounded by McDonald. As the Blue Devils with key moments here without Avery Parker on the floor. Baseline drive, swung to McDonald, 17-foot shot is good, and McDonald's got the last 6 for the Blue Devils.
She looks like a shooter. Again, shooters tend to be kind of hot and cold. They get in the groove, and you got to somehow figure out a way defensively to get them out of that groove. Otherwise, some of them are going to kill you.
Eaton finds Collins for an open 3, and it was short. Rebounded by McDonald again for the Blue Devils, trying to find an open teammate, and she does. Finds a safety valve, and Kate Gopinski. Corner 3-pointer is just off, tapped out and controlled by McDonald. Blue Devils reset for a second possession. Inside drop step, McDonald off the window and good. And Coach Reitz Kepke is going to have to take a timeout and talk about some of his defense inside against McDonald and the Blue Devils. A quick little spurt puts the Blue Devils up by 9 points. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about our halftime show, talk about the boys' game later on this evening. And actually, we're going to keep it right here, Dennis. So it's a 20-11 game. A couple different key moments that we've marked and archived as the Blue Devils making a nice run without Avery Parker in the game right now. It's we talked that she's kind of the straw that stirs the drink for the Blue Devils, but McDonald having a pretty easy time picking up the slack.
Yeah, I think this is an important part of the game. If you're Charlevoix, you cannot let the Gaylord Blue Devils get too far ahead of you here. So that was a really important last minute or so, and that was a great timeout. Because I think if Gaylord would be hard to come back against if you let them get out there too far.
As That one was missed by Kemp. Look ahead pass all the way down the floor, trying to keep the pivot foot alive, and doing so.
Whoa.
That was a nice shot made by Kate Kapinski.
It wasn't pretty, but it counts for 2.
Well, you got to keep that pivot foot down, and it was like almost like she was caught in between whether she wanted to take one more dribble or shoot it right then and there, and she made the most of it and got the bucket as the Blue Devils have extended this lead and doubled up the Raiders with just under 1 minute to go in the game. There's a nice crossover by Pretzloff, finds an open teammate, an open shot, and it's good.
Well, the Blue Devils are feeling it right now. It's been a bad last couple minutes for Charlevoix.
That was Nora Bethy getting the three-pointer to go. Collins dribbles into a three-pointer, and that one's no good. Rebounded by Wright inside. Going to have to make something happen, and a foul called on the floor against the Blue Devils. Their 6th team foul, kind of the only saving grace in this game. It has been the foul situation for the Raiders getting to the free throw line. If the Blue Devils clean up that foul situation, Dennis, this game could be even further out of stretch.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Wright had that ball down underneath, and you cannot put the ball down if you're right where she put it down. Bad things are going to happen. You got to have that when you get the ball down there that low, and you're probably one of the taller players on both sides. You got to go back up hard. And lucky she got bailed out a little bit. It's under the free throw line, but
can't get that one to drop. Charlevoix with the offensive rebound. And Abby Wright puts up the three-pointer, no good. Rebounded inside by McDonald. McDonald might have a double-double at halftime, Dennis, as the Blue Devils push this one up into the corner. No call on the floor, and we're going to have a hell ball possession error favoring the Raiders.
Well, the one thing so far, if you're going to, and we'll talk about it more in the halftime show, the Raiders would die for a three-pointer right now. They have been ice cold from three-point land. Actually, any kind of jump shot has not leaned anywhere near Charlevoix's way. So that's one thing that's really been, giving them some problems offensively, is they're only scoring kind of down low when they have the chance.
As that one's forced out of there, and it's going to be Gaylord basketball with 1 second remaining in the quarter.
And the half.
Blue Devils with a nice little 10-1 run to end the second quarter. It was 15-11, and that 10-1 spurt sends the Blue Devils on top by 13 points after 16 minutes in the books from Charlevoix High School. When we come back, we'll have our halftime show, talk about the first half here, second half on tap, and then the boys' game to follow circa right around 7 o'clock this evening. So that should be an interesting one tonight. We'll step aside and come back after a word from our sponsors.
Let summer pass you by. Get into a new Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram today and make this the summer event. Lease a sleek new Compass for an amazing $339 a month. Elevate your journey in a stylish Grand Cherokee for $429 a month. Or unleash the power of a 4x4 Ram pickup for $459 a month. Don't miss out on getting into your perfect ride for less at Charlevoix Auto on US 31 South near the Charlevoix Airport. Your trusted local dealership.
Small business owner, you learn to wear a lot of hats. The custodian hat, the IT hat, and well, you should have called a professional hat. Auto Owners takes care of your business insurance, so you can take care of everything else. That's simple human sense.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
Hannah again with Charlevoix Auto. Don't let summer pass you by. Get into a new Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram today and make this the summer event. Lease a sleek new Compass for an amazing $339 a month. Elevate your journey in a stylish Grand Cherokee for $429 a month. Or unleash the power of a 4x4 Ram pickup for $459 a month. Don't miss out on getting into your perfect ride for less at Charlevoix Auto on US 31 South near the Charlevoix Airport. Your trusted local dealership.
Now's the time to fly from your Northern Michigan hometown cherry capital airport, TVC. TVC Airport will get you to your dream destination anywhere in the world. Visit tvcairport.com now. Dream destination anywhere in the Now's the time to fly from your Northern Michigan hometown cherry capital airport, TVC. TVC Airport will get you to your dream destination anywhere in the world. Visit tvcairport.com now.
I'm Dennis Halverson, Berkshire Hathaway in Charlevoix. Have you been thinking about selling your house? We've got a long list of people looking to buy. If you've been thinking about selling your property and aren't quite sure where to start, that's where I come in. I've got the expertise, the background, and the experience to help market your property in a way that will maximize your profit. I pride myself on the relationship I establish with my clients, whether that be on the sell side or the buy side of their real estate transaction. I'm Dennis Halverson, the 2021 ACK Realtor of the Year.
Charlevoix State Bank was founded in 1994 to provide exceptional local service to our northern Michigan community. With 6 locations in Charlevoix, East Jordan, Boyne City, Ellsworth, and Beaver Island, we're here to make banking easy, right here in your neck of the woods with people you know. Charlevoix State Bank believes in the positive lessons of high school athletics and is a proud sponsor of tonight's game. Charlevoix State Bank was founded in 1994 to provide exceptional local service to our northern Michigan community. With 6 locations in Charlevoix, East Jordan, Boyne City, Ellsworth, and Beaver Island, we're here to make banking easy, right here in your neck of the woods with people you know. Charlevoix State Bank believes in the positive lessons of high school athletics and is a proud sponsor of tonight's game.
There, Hannah again with Charlevoix Auto. Don't let summer pass you by. Get into a new Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram today and make this the summer event. Lease a sleek new Compass for an amazing $339 a month. Elevate your journey in a stylish Grand Cherokee for $429 a month. Or unleash the power of a 4x4 Ram pickup for $459 a month. Don't miss out in getting into your perfect ride for less at Charlevoix Auto on US 31 South near the Charlevoix Airport. Your trusted local dealership.
And welcome back into the Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport halftime show here on Next Level Broadcasting. Gaylord Blue Devils on top of the Charlevoix Raiders 25-12 after 16 minutes in the books. Charles Strel and Dennis Halverson here live from Raiderland or Charlevoix High School. I was just trying to go impromptu, Dennis, and didn't really have something.
Lederhosen, we're playing Gaylord.
Okay, we can go with that from an Alpine Village to the shores of Lake Michigan. Next Level Broadcasting here, and we're going to have to get back on script and get back to the Traverse City Cherry Capital halftime show. It's 25-12 here, but it was a much closer game, a 4-point game, 15-11, with about 3.5 minutes and change in the second quarter, and the Blue Devils went on that 10-1 run to end the quarter, and that was fueled by the Blue Devils getting the ball inside. And big story, the Blue Devils kind of splitting the load here in terms of carrying the point production between Addison McDonald and also Avery Parker. And for the two of them, they make up 23 of the Blue Devil 25 points. So the two of them really getting things done inside and outside. For Charlevoix, it's kind of been a rough 2 first quarters of basketball.
Well, if Coach Kepke could edit that first half tape, he'd delete the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, because up to that point, Charlevoix was into this game in spite of some woes on jump shooting and lack of 3 points. Again, playing a much bigger school, again, at least 2 levels above their weight class here tonight. They were holding their own up until that last part of the second quarter, and then the wheels kind of came off a little bit. And I don't think that 12-25 halftime score here we've got right now was really indicative of that entire first half. But Charlevoix needs to find a shooter. They need to pull Gaylord out from underneath the glass. Gaylord just camping out underneath there because, you know, any kind of defense is gonna react to what the offense is doing to them. And so far, the offensive threat for the Raiders on any kind of jump shot or three-point shots, which they don't have any the first half, is going to dictate, you know, what kind of defense Gaylord's going to throw at them. So Gaylord's packing it down low, going to make it really tough on Carly Eaton, Abby Wright down low. It's going to jam it up, which it has, and it's kind of affected their ability to score down low because the whole Gaylord team's down there. You got to score from outside, draw the defense outside. That'll free up down below, plus hopefully it'll rack up a few more points than the Raiders got. 12 first half points.
Yeah, 12 first half points. Couple of easy ones that they left at the free throw line. Want to make note of that. The Blue Devils did have a little bit of foul trouble after the first 2 quarters of play, so for the Raiders to take advantage, they need to get to the free throw line and continue applying that pressure on the Blue Devil defense. But the Blue Devils are a very deep team here, Dennis, as they've already played 9 players so far in this game, so I don't really think the foul trouble will be too much of a challenge for them, especially with the 13-point lead at the half.
Well, Charlevoix can't afford to come out cold here in the third quarter. Otherwise, this train's going to be, the Gaylord train's going to be hard to stop. So I think the first couple minutes in the third quarter are going to really set the tone for the second half and who comes out of here a winner tonight. Again, Gaylord is a tough school, comes in here, multi-talented, like you said, very deep, and quite a handful on the best of nights for the Lady Raiders. But again, first night, Raiders have got some talent. Pretty enthused about seeing more of the Collins Wright combo. We saw a little bit of it, but we just need to see Collins start hitting a couple of those threes, which she is more than capable of doing.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it all last year. So the other thing I want to mention, Charles, we've got the call-in line going, so I know probably we've got some Gaylord people out there watching this one tonight from over in the Alpine Village.
Alpine Village, yeah.
So let's hear from you guys. Let's hear from somebody how far away you're listening from. The other night we had people from all over the place. That's kind of fun to see how far the Lady Raiders broadcast and this broadcast for Gaylord is going. So give us a text in and tell us where you're listening from.
Yeah, let us know. I think football season, the furthest one we had was coming in from Samoa. So, and that's a three-point shot by Pretzloff. Avery Parker set her up on the dish, and the Blue Devils on the floor to it. Parker tees up the three-pointer. Good. Her third three-pointer of the contest. She's in the books. Once again, that's her 12th point of the evening.
Well, if you're Charlevoix, that's the last thing you wanted to see, have her come out right off the bat here in the third quarter and hit that nothing but net three-point shot.
And the Raiders trying to answer that three-pointer by Avery Parker, as it's a 28-12 game now with 7 minutes, 22 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Big moments right now for the Lady Raiders to try and get back into this ball game, to reestablish themselves and just find some footing that they can try and carve out their presence in the last 2 quarters of play. There's a nice step-through move by Collins, but couldn't get it to go. Rebounded by Parker. She looks way up ahead the floor. Got an open Carly Pretzloff, and the Blue Devils swing it around. There's an open three-pointer for Parker. Tees it up too strong. Rebounded by Wangler inside, back to Parker. You know, it's like if the Blue Devils don't get it to go, they're always getting those second-chance rebounds.
Yeah, they're pesky. Look at they're just following the ball. Kind of a full-court press, but they've just got a pesky rebound capability.
As Abby Wright tries to pirouette her way inside the lane, she's fouled. That'll be the first Blue Devil foul of the third quarter. I believe that foul was called on Kennedy Wangler. That's her third personal foul.
Yeah, again, Abby kind of got caught and bailed out there by that foul. She was down there in no man's land, no women's land down there.
There's a nice out-of-bounds play, teeing up the three-pointer. No good. Offensive rebound by Ava Boss, and she looks to find some help for her teammates. Still looking for that first Raider three-pointer this evening as Abby Wright drives inside. She's fouled by McDonald. And right early on in the third quarter, being aggressive, taking the ball to the basket, she's already drawn 2 fouls.
Yeah, one thing for Wright doing those drives down low, she's really taken a toll on the foul totals for Gaylord. So that there is one bright spot in those drives she's doing. That along with that free throw that she just made. But she's doing a little damage with them on those drives, and the Gaylord's ability to, or inability to stop her is just kind of making them foul her to stop her. 13:28 here to go, just starting the third in the first of 2 games we're bringing you tonight.
Second free throw, no good. Fought for it and tapped out of bounds. It'll be Charlevoix basketball. It was a couple of players trying to get that one, and it was awarded. There's a pass stolen away by Avery Parker. Blue Devils with numbers, looking up the floor. Nice pass. And not being able to get it to drop was Addison Wangler as the Raiders clear. Wright pulls the three-pointer just short. Looking up the head, it was Pretzloff who gets it up the floor to Wangler. And it's stolen away right back by the Raiders.
Wow.
Baseball pass stolen back by the Blue Devils as this thing has turned into a turnover machine as Ava Boss steps into the passing lane and gets the steal in the bucket.
Yeah, Lisa was sloppy on both sides there for a few seconds.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a little hot potato action there as it's finally settled down by that Boss layup as the Blue Devils now, it's a drive by Pretzloff into the paint. Rebounded by Eaton up ahead. It goes all the way, scooping in for the layup is Carly Eaton.
Nice little spurt here by the Lady Raiders. Trying to hang in there with Gaylord.
4-0 run by the Raiders to answer the Blue Devils. There's a drive and foul. It was Nora Buthe who drew the contact and the foul as the Blue Devils will have it baseline out of bounds here with just over 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Well, it's Carly Eaton's first foul of the night. Parker over there to set another one up.
There's a nice pass on the baseline jump shot. No good. Offensive rebound by Parker trying to find a teammate. She does. They swing it around. Open shot to Pretzloff and didn't find anything on the shot. Out of bounds. It'll be Raider basketball. But that offensive rebounding has been something that the Blue Devils have been hanging their hats on all night long, Dennis.
Yeah, and they're effective again with a full court pressure on the Raiders, trying to create a turnover.
Raiders break through that pressure and are down by 11 points. Three-pointer by Kemp.
Hey, all right.
And Kemp has nothing but nylon as this is cut to an 8-point lead.
Go figure.
So there's the first three-pointer in the books by the Raiders by Anna Kemp. And it's a 7-0 run right now. Blue Devils trying to find that rhythm that they had in the second quarter. Nice cut inside. Wangler can't get it to go off the glass. And Kemp has another rebound.
Well, the Raiders are starting the third just like Gaylord finished the second.
I agree. As Ava Boss drives inside, fouled, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Man, Charles, I think Charlevoix, you just keep driving at Gaylord, and that's another foul for Gaylord. They're starting to rack up a little bit.
That foul was on Alexis Shepard, the senior for the Blue Devils, as Ava Boss will head to the free throw line after this timeout. And, well, you know, it was a 14-point game at halftime, and the Raiders have trimmed it down to just 8 right now on the back of a 7-0 run, fueled a lot by Anna Kemp. She's got a three-pointer, had been getting some rebounds. Carly Eaton had a nice little leak-out pass. Ava Boss had a steal and a basket during that 7-0 stretch. And
what a difference 4 minutes makes. Huh?
Yeah, a completely different feeling of a basketball game right now between the two teams. The Blue Devils, I thought it had the potential to be a knockout punch there, Dennis, going into the halftime intermission with that 10-1 run. But the Raiders coming back with their own 7-0 run here to get back in the game.
Well, the word, whether you're playing football or basketball, you hear it 75 times on a weekend, resilience. The ability to get back up after you get gut punched a couple times. And the Lady Raiders were gut punched the last couple minutes of that second quarter, but it didn't count them out. They came back hard here to start the second half, and they're back in this ball game only 8 points behind and got the ball for a free throw shot.
There's the first free throw up and in by Ava Boss. Anna Boss, I apologize. And that's going to be controlled by Avery Parker, bringing it up the floor for the Blue Devils. It's a 7-point game in the third quarter. We'll get that scoreboard fixed here as Parker slices in through the lane but can't get it to go. Rebound controlled by Abby Wright, trying to find some help. And Anna Kemp is fouled in the backcourt by Pretzloff. That's a tough foul about 70 feet away from the basket.
Yeah. Well, full court pressure is one thing, but that foul didn't do anything except rack up the third foul there for number 24, one of Gaylord's leading scorers so far.
Yeah, that third foul was on Carly Pretzloff as Wright goes inside, and there's a scrum for it underneath. Eventually controlled by the Blue Devils, stolen away by Collins. Collins with
Makes
the
it.
bucket inside. She got the steal, got the score.
5-point ball game, folks.
If right now I think the Blue Devils need to settle in and get this one to Avery Parker. Just maybe like a post touch, and we'll see what they choose to do here on this crucial possession as a pushing foul is called against Carly Eaton. Second team foul against the Raiders, and that will be the first personal foul.
Yeah, that's the cheapest foul I've seen called here tonight. That was pretty ticky-tack from an experienced but, like I said
there's
before,
a nice cut right down the paint, but can't get it to
can't put it in.
Go, and Carly Eaton has it or that's Anna Kemp. I apologize as Kemp sets things up for the Raiders, gets it to right at the high post. Cut by Collins, deflected, stolen off the deflection by Pretzloff. She throws it way up ahead to Nora Buthe, and pass inside to Pretzloff. No good. I mean,
I love that backup defense.
Sometimes momentum can be a sixth defender, and we've seen momentum, I think, impact a couple of shots inside by the Blue Devils recently as the Raiders are on a 10-0 run. As Parker gets the steal, this will lead to an easy run out, and she stops the bleeding for the Blue Devils and puts it back to a 7-point game.
Yeah, everything was going very well up till that point.
As Collins has it on the perimeter. Inside it goes to Boss. Left-handed scoop shot.
That was a tough shot.
No good. Parker with the rebound, and she looks like she's going to try to settle things down for the Blue Devil offense. Corner three-pointer by Pretzloff. Too strong. Fight for the rebound controlled once again by Anna Kemp. She's got to have at least a handful of rebounds for the Raiders. An excellent rebounding guard as the Blue Devils up 7 over the Raiders with 1 minute 45 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Three-pointer up. Too strong. Offensive rebound by Wright. She controls back over. And nice put back by Eaton. And it's a 2-point or 5-point game with 1 minute 30 seconds remaining. Corner, it goes inside. Nice little give and go pass by the Blue Devils. It was featuring Parker and Pretzloff, and Parker got it to go. Just made a nice cut there. You don't see the give and go too much anymore,
no.
Dennis, and that was a nice play.
Yeah, that worked. We hadn't seen that. That was the first time all night we saw that combination.
As that one's turned over to be Blue Devil basketball. A couple different line changes. Each team sending in 3 different substitutions for the last minute and 9 seconds. Raiders replace Boss, Kemp, and Collins. Blue Devils replace Wangler, Pretzloff, and Bethe.
Well, Charlevoix is hard to sustain that kind of comeback for a whole quarter.
As the Blue Devils are going to take a quick, someone took a timeout, but not sure which team did.
That's what the refs are kind of trying to figure out. Who called the timeout? Was it you? No, it was you? Was that a technical? That looks like a technical foul.
I think it could have been one of the players wasn't in the scorer's book. I believe what happened there was one of the players. Oh, they had 6 players on the court.
Oh, yeah, that's against the rules.
It's a good way to have increase the defensive numbers.
That gets you in trouble right away. Yeah, you're going to have a little bit of an advantage with 1 extra player. But this isn't hockey.
As Abby Wright sinks the one of 2 technical free throws, and we're back to a 2-possession game, and it's going to be Charlevoix basketball on the possession.
Have you ever seen that, Charles?
I've never actually seen a team have 6 players on the floor,
No,
Dennis.
me neither.
As Wright has it up top. Playing a little game with Eaton. She goes inside, muscles it up and in. That was an impressive drive to the rack by Carly Eaton, and it's a 4-point game.
Probably one of the smaller players on the floor right now, but you'd think she's playing like she's 6'8".
As Avery Parker teeing up the three-pointer, can't get it. Rebound inside, controlled by Emily Kurtz. And stolen by Eaton.
Guess who?
25 seconds. She's on a one-on-one breakaway against Wampler. And no good.
Looked like a foul. There was
Rebounded
contact.
by Alexis Shepard, but stolen away by Eaton. Again, 15-foot J to potentially cut it to a 1-score game. And with 10 seconds, Gaylord's going to hold for the last shot of the quarter. What a wild quarter we've had here, Dennis.
Take a look at Kemp. I see you. I see you out there
Avery
playing.
Parker going inside. Outside to Wampler. Three-pointer up. No good. It would not have counted had it gone. So after 3 quarters of play, we got a tight game between Blue Devils and Raiders, 32-28 after, 24 minutes are in the books from Charlevoix High School. We're going to step aside, catch our breath, and when we come back, 4th quarter action just around the corner. High school basketball here on Next Level Broadcasting. We'll be back in 1 minute after these messages.
There, Hannah again with Charlevoix Auto. Don't let summer pass you by. Get into a new Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram today and make this the summer event. Lease a sleek new Compass for an amazing $339 a month. Elevate your journey in a stylish Grand Cherokee for $429 a month. Or unleash the power of a 4x4 Ram pickup for $459 a month. Don't miss out on getting into your perfect ride for less at Charlevoix Auto on US 31 South near the Charlevoix Airport. Your trusted local dealership.
All right, here we are. 4th quarter action now underway between Raiders and Blue Devils. It's a 4-point game as the Raiders stormed out in the 3rd quarter with a 10-point advantage in that frame as the Blue Devils look to try and hold off for the win here from Charlevoix High School. There's a nice little lane drive and being fouled on the play and going to the free throw line is Kate Gopinski, and she was fouled by Sarah Reglandowski.
Reglandowski. I got to say that a couple times.
Want to remind everyone that coming up we'll have the boys varsity game as that free throw no good by Gopinski. 1 shot now for each team, or excuse me, for Gopinski. 4-point lead for the Blue Devils. Second one's no good. Rebounded and cleared by Carly Eaton. Blue Devils applying a lot of pressure.
Yep.
Abby Wright driving right down the middle, too strong off the window. Rebounded by Avery Parker. And the Blue Devils with an opportunity to extend this to a 3-score game. Kopinski shuffled her feet on the head fake. And a turnover, Blue Devils.
Well, man, that was a good 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a really fun game to watch, and as you see, Dennis, a lot more people making their way into the stands tonight. I said coming in, I think this is going to be a good attended event as the Blue Devils try to go on a little backdoor pass. It finds its way to Waglandowski, and she's fouled by Avery Parker. And
it could be number 4 on her, huh?
Let's see. It is. Actually, it's four on Kennedy Wangler. So Waglandowski to the free throw line for the Raiders, and that one doesn't go. You look at Waglandowski for the Raiders, and she's probably a good 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
A lot of length on the floor right now for the Raiders with Waglandowski and Wright.
didn't see a lot of Sarah last year that I remember anyway.
And that one's no good. Rebounded by Parker. Aggressive rebound as she controls and breaks it across half court. Pretzloff goes to the corner, back inside to Parker, out to Pretzloff, swung around the perimeter to McDonald. And it's Parker who has it for the Blue Devils once again on the outside.
Well, those 2 free throws that we missed there, those might turn out to be a big deal.
As McDonald gets it inside but can't get it to go. Wright tried to go for the steal, and McDonald just couldn't get it to drop. So Wright and the Raiders kind of bailed out on that one.
Yeah, looking for somebody to step up. We could use a three-pointer now. Would be a big psychological push for the Raiders. I think 2 would even get that accomplished, but let's see what happens here.
Kemp drives in the middle from the screen. Free throw line jump shot, no good, but she fouled her own shot. Three-pointer by Kemp, no good. And that one was a crazy ricochet off of the window, rebounded by Parker again. She's got a double-double now for the Blue Devils as she fires it cross court, gets it back. And I thought she was going to pull that three-pointer there, Dennis.
She thought about it.
Yeah. She'll drive it inside, kind of skip through the lane, and it's controlled by Boss. She's got a fast break for the Raiders all by herself. Layup is, no good.
Miss a puppy.
Rebounded by Carly
Guess who?
Eaton, and we've got a 2-point game.
Man, my heart sank when that didn't go in, and then Anna Kemp with a follow-up, who so far is a big Butterburger contender here tonight.
I'm glad I took my blood pressure medicine before I got to this game tonight, Dennis, as that one's cleared by Boss, and the Raiders with a chance to tie or take the lead.
Who would have thunk?
Down 14 points at halftime. Kemp drives inside, and she fouled or travel?
Foul call.
A foul is going to be called against McDonald for the Blue Devils. Still only second team foul for the Blue Devils, and I think we might start seeing that foul situation start to add up for the Blue Devils. Fourth foul on McDonald.
Yeah, that's huge. That is huge with 5 minutes left for her with 4 fouls.
So Wampler and McDonald with 4 fouls apiece for the Blue Devils as Kemp catches that one short. Rebounded inside scrum. 2 girls on the deck for it. It's going to be Blue Devil basketball on the hell ball possession arrow. We haven't seen any shortage of hustle plays this afternoon.
No, but Charles, I think Gaylord's been back on their heels this third quarter.
They
Blue really got it taken to them.
Blue Devils are having a hard time finishing at the rim right now. I don't know if it's just a psychological thing or the length inside by the Raiders. I mean, we've seen a lot of these layups that either just kind of bounced around and didn't go. And the Raiders have taken advantage as Kemp slices through the paint and ties the game on the nice drive inside. We've got a tie game with 4:40.
That was a great layup.
There's a nice layup by McDonald to answer the bell, and Blue Devils will back up by 2 points. Nice little left-handed layup there.
Yeah, I'd take the ball right at her. If you're Charlevoix, get her out of the game.
As Wright tries to drive against McDonald, and that was poked away. Man, you got to be really confident in your defensive approach if you're McDonald to reach in on that and get that poke away with 4 personal fouls as a full timeout's taken by the Raiders. And, well, if you're just now joining us, people, it was a 14-point game at halftime. The Blue Devils got that lead with a 10-1 run going into the halftime intermission. Third quarter was dominated by the Raiders. They won that third quarter by a 10-point margin and have come out so far with a 2-point margin in the fourth quarter, making this a 2-point game, 34-32. Blue Devils dealing with some foul troubles. 4 personal fouls on both Wangler and McDonald. Raiders staying pretty clean so far in the foul situation. It very well could be a Raider lead right now if they've been able to shoot a better percentage from the free throw line.
Yeah, that's hurt them here tonight. And but again, they have got some spunk and some spirit and some resilience that would have really been easy to throw the towel in at the half. But whatever that halftime talk was that Coach Kepke gave, he ought to save that one for another day because that obviously paid him some dividends.
Blue Devils beat the Raiders last year by more than 20 points. The game was over in Gaylord as these teams consistently play home and aways with each other on each basketball year's calendar. So a large improvement on this year's squad for the Raiders so far as Abby Wright drives on the baseline, gets tied up. And
another foul.
Was that a foul or a jump ball? Fouls.
2-4.
Fouls called on Carly Pretzloff for the Blue Devils. That will be her 4th foul as well. So 3 Blue Devils with 4 fouls, Dennis, with not even halfway into this 4th quarter. As Avery Parker with an athletic play and stolen. Nice behind the back dribble. Inside it goes. She's fouled. Was it on the pass or the shot? It should be on the shot.
I'm not seeing 2 shots. Yep. Going to put her to the line. 2-point Gaylord lead here with 4:04 to go in this one. I never thought it would be this close this far into it after the halftime lead Gaylord had.
Pretzloff gets the first free throw to drop. It's 35-32. Still 1-score game.
Yeah, the other interesting, Charles, is Coach Parker for Gaylord is riding her horses all the way through. She hasn't taken out one of those players with 4 fouls.
Yeah, you got to you got to come in with who you brung, right? As Boss gets it to Wright. Back up top to Kemp. Kemp pulls the 3 and got it.
Wow! That was huge.
So
tie ball game. No, I'm sorry, 1 point.
1 point Gaylord lead, but a big-time shot by Anna Kemp. She's got 2 3-pointers for the Raiders. As Pretzloff pulls the 3-pointer for the Blue Devils, rattles out, controlled. This is going to be tracked down by Kemp. Kemp in a foot race and traveled.
Oh, yeah, traveled. She didn't know what to do there. The closer she got, does she take the layup or does she do a pull-up jumper? In that indecision,
she was being tracked down by McDonald and a couple other Blue Devils, and she thought about going over to try and finish on the right-hand side, but shuffled her feet in doing so as Parker splits 2 defenders. Scoop shot and is in. Avery Parker starting to take over for the Blue Devils here. She's got their last 4 points, and it's a 3-point game once again. Kemp in a blur. Throws up the shot, no good. Rebounded by Pretzloff. She looks way up the floor. Got an open teammate. That's Nora Buthe. No good. Rejected.
No
Rejected by Collins, and now Wright has it with the head of steam. 3-on-1 break for the Raiders. Wright all the way.
Nice.
And gets it to go.
1-point game. 2:50 to go here in this one. Strap on your seatbelt, folks.
3 personal fouls. Or team fouls for the Blue Devils, 2 team fouls for the Raiders. It's Avery Parker guarded by Kemp. Parker with the last 4 points for the Blue Devils. The Raiders have really fought hard to get this to a 1-point game. It was a 14-point Gaylord lead at halftime. There's a double screen by the Blue Devils. Pretzloff has it, driving back up top to McDonald. Kind of lost the handle on it as they'll reset here.
Yeah, things kind of slowed down a little for Gaylord offense. I haven't seen
nice post entry. McDonald on the cut. Nice pass, and McDonald off the left-hand block finishes at the rim. She's had a nice game tonight, Dennis.
Yeah. I think if you're Charlevoix, you got to line up one of those Gaylord players with four fouls and take the ball right at him.
There's Collins over to Kemp, guarded by Parker. Nice screen. And Kemp got all the way into the paint and a foul called on the Blue Devils. This is going to be against Addison Wangler. That's her second. I want to clarify. It's Kennedy Wangler with 4 fouls. Addison Wangler with 2. As the Blue Devils bring back into the game Alexis Shepard for some senior experience. 3-pointer up by Collins, no good. Well off to the left, and it'll be Blue Devil basketball with a 3-point lead as well.
Yeah, that was a tough shot there by Collins.
She was open.
She was wide open. I don't blame her for taking the shot.
1 minute, 35 seconds remaining in this one. Parker has it for the Blue Devils, and they're kind of setting up an offense to potentially run some clock off of this game. Raiders are going to have to start fouling at some point, Dennis. It's a 1-score game. Raiders only with 2 team fouls, and they're going to do just that to pick up a foul so that way they can potentially extend this game at the free throw line. Blue Devils are going to run this clock as much as possible, force the Raiders to foul them, as the Raiders only have 3 team fouls, so 3 more fouls required. As Blue Devils go inside to McDonald. Quick shot. That's exactly what the Raiders would have wanted, and Collins gets it. Blue Devils could have potentially run more time off the clock there, as Kemp has it now for the Raiders, trying to get the best shot possible. And timeout taken by head coach Reese Kepke. He's looking over to he's got a 30-second timeout, and he'll use it right there with 1 minute left to go in the fourth quarter. And, well, Dennis, if the next game tonight is anything like this one,
man, I'm
sign
going
me
home early.
up.
If the second game is anything like this, second quarter at the second game, I'm gone. I'm laying on the couch, man, trying to recover.
It's been a very competitive game between these two teams. Both teams, I would say, with areas that they will want to clean up after watching the film. For the Blue Devils, making those bunnies inside, those pup shots. For the Raiders, spending a little more time at the free throw line.
Yeah, that's been the difference for the Raiders here tonight.
But early on in the season, every team has some areas that they want to improve on. And I would say for these two teams, it'd be the layup game, just the 2-footers for the Blue Devils and the free throws for the Raiders. 2 evenly matched opponents going at it right now. It's a 1-possession game. Raiders with the ball. Under 1 minute to play. Kemp throws a little pass to Eaton. That's deflected by Parker. Parker with a big-time steal, stolen back by Kemp. Kemp going inside, blows the layup.
It.
And Parker has it on the deck for the Blue Devils. It's controlled by her and Shepard. Extreme pressure being applied by Kemp and Eaton, and the Blue Devils take a 30-second timeout.
Take a breath.
I need to catch my breath. That was a wild exchange.
That was, and I think the referees swallowed their whistle. I thought there would have been a foul in there somewhere. But
I think the first foul was probably as Parker had it, and then there was probably another foul there as Kemp went in for the layup. But, I will say this.
Fun to watch.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Very fun to watch, very entertaining. We got a 1-score game. And the thing, last year I don't really recall having a lot of these 1-possession games where both teams are going through different scenarios in those timeouts. A lot of times in practice, high school basketball, you go through these different situations and scenarios in practice, and some kids are kind of tuned out. Well, now you get to see what kids were paying attention during practice.
Yep.
As right now the Raiders with only 3 team fouls, Blue Devils 4 team fouls. So I would expect to see a full court pressure defense by the Raiders here. Blue Devils with their 5 best ball handlers on the floor right now, and all 5.
Three of them with 4 fouls.
3 of them with 4 fouls, all seniors, 1 sophomore for the Blue Devils. So a lot of experience. Actually, I apologize.
Oh, what a steal.
Stolen by
pass. Kemp.
Bingo. And we got a 1-point game. It was turned over by the sophomore McDonald for the Blue Devils, and it's a 1-point game. I wouldn't expect Avery Parker to give this ball up, Dennis.
Yeah, and that was a pretty cheap foul. That's probably the last person you want to see on the free throw line.
Well, she's not going to the free throw line yet.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
The Raiders.
4 team fouls.
Only 4 team fouls, so if the Raiders can get another steal here, they could potentially take the lead. As that one's stolen by Collins. And Collins has a 2-on-2 fast break. Collins going all the way against Shepard, and it will be Gaylord basketball.
Oh, man.
I like the aggressiveness by Collins trying to use her height and size, but just couldn't get that one to go. 1-point game, 20 seconds to go. Inbound to Shepard. Shepard finds Parker. Parker on a 2-on-1 breakup, gives it to Wampler. Wampler finishes at the rim, and it's a 3-point game. Blue Devils and Raiders. Timeout. Reese Kepke, and he wants to talk about it. He's taking a full timeout. Raiders down 3 points. Nice job of answering right back by the Blue Devils there. Avery Parker getting it up the floor to Addison Wangler. And like that, the senior experience showing up for the Blue Devils.
Oh, man. I bet you Collins would want that possession back.
I don't know. I like the aggressiveness there, Dennis. I mean, she had a one-on-one break against Alexis Shepard, had the height and size advantage, but I like the aggressiveness both teams are playing with. I don't know,
I think you go at her harder than she did. I mean, maybe draw the foul or pull up and take the J, but I think there was, again, a little bit of indecision there on what she wanted to do. glass it.
Sure. Or take the jump shot.
Take the jump shot.
2-on-2 though, you like those chances. Typically the save, it's 2-on-2, you're going. 2-on-3, pulling it back out, waiting for a teammate. It's a
last shot, maybe. At
that
point.
Maybe. It's an 11 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. We got a 42-39 game. First girls basketball varsity game of the year.
This is great.
This is a great game.
If this is any indication of how the rest of them are going to be for the Lady Raiders, man, it's going to be a great year.
It certainly will be. It'll be interesting to see what the Blue Devils do here. Will they apply full court pressure? They will. Fouls. If the Blue Devils do foul, it's no harm as the Raiders throw a baseball pass caught by Kemp. Kemp, nice deflected by McDonald. Eaton puts up the three-pointer, no good. Boss with the putback, and this is going to do it. Avery Parker's fouled by Collins, and the Blue Devils are going to have a victory, whether or not it's 1, 2, or 3 points. It's all aesthetic after this. Kemp got the layup, but the Raiders were out of timeouts.
That was a great last little bit there, and again, it's easy for me to say sitting up here in the stands, not out there on the court, but man, that was a tough deal there on the two. But all fun.
First free throw is good for Avery Parker, and that makes it a 43-41 game. Blue Devils are going to come out of here with a victory. Parker's second free throw is good, and it's 44-41. Blue Devils win it. One-score game, and both teams say good job, great contest. And, I mean, it certainly was a great contest. Both these teams, really giving it their all. And what a great game over, to get things kicked off for the basketball season.
Well, you couldn't have written a script up any better than this if you're the Charlevoix Lady Raiders or this crowd here tonight. I thought at the end of the first half there, I thought Charlevoix was toast. And, man, that strong third quarter got them back in the ball game. And Gaylord there was on their heels a little bit, kind of thought they backed into a buzzsaw coming over here to Raiderville. And the last couple seconds, that was a great finish. I hope you guys at home were able to enjoy and got the feel for that last. And I don't believe in moral victories, but if you're the Class C Lady Raiders here going up against a big Class A Gaylord team, you got to be happy with the finish.
Well, I mean, that was just a great game overall. Down 14 points. I mean, basketball is a game of runs, Dennis, and we saw two extreme runs there, one by the Blue Devils, one by the Raiders. And one was a potential knockout punch. The other one was a counter punch. And that first one was delivered by the Blue Devils in the second quarter, that 10-1 run to end the half. And then the Lady Raiders came out and won that third quarter by a 10-point margin. And that really, brought that game much closer. And it was a one-point game all throughout the fourth quarter. I would say the primary difference was the experience and the decision-making of Parker for the Blue Devils coming down the stretch.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, on the other side of the equation, Anna Kemp, I think, had a great game. And I think she was pivotal in the comeback in that third quarter. And I think she assumed the role, whether she had it or not, coming into this game as a point guard. You could really tell that she became the focal point on offense and defense for the other players out there with her at any given time. So you got to be happy with Anna Kemp. Not a particularly long girl, not very big, but I tell you what, she plays like she's 6'8", and showed a lot of game here tonight. And I think if you were to name one person that was pretty pivotal in bringing the Raiders back into this in the second half, I think you got to tag Anna Kemp with getting the job done, or at least almost getting the job done.
Hey, no disagreement from me here. And we're just going to keep this thing rolling right now. This will be the Jimmy John's pregame show here between the Raiders boys basketball and the Blue Devils boys basketball. These teams played a couple of games last week. The Blue Devils kicked off their season last Friday against Traverse City West. They had a 13-point loss to the Traverse City West Titans. Raiders got a big win over Maple City Glen Lake in a thriller here from the Charlevoix High School last Friday night, in which the Raiders made 10 three-pointers in that contest. We were here for that one, Dennis. just looking at these teams in warm-ups here, what stands out to you and what these two teams are going to be, squaring off tonight?
Well, the first thing physically that just jumps out at me anyway is Gaylord's big. I see number 43 there. I see, the guy right now going for the rebound. Gaylord is a big team, and I see some big players. Charlevoix, on the other hand, not so much. We played Plamondon the other night we figured him at 6'5". Gave him a little trouble in the first half, but not so much the second half because Charlevoix put a three-man defense on him and pretty much shut him down the second half against Glen Lake last week. But my first aha moment here looking at Gaylord, they're a tall team.
Key matchup tonight will be the senior versus sophomore matchup. That's Luke Gilo for the Blue Devils and Joe Gaffney for the Raiders. Gaffney led that Raiders surge in the first quarter last week with 5 3-pointers in the first quarter. And Luke Gilo for the Blue Devils made 5 3-pointers in their first game versus Traverse City West on Friday night. So a couple of guys that can really dial it up from deep going at it tonight. As you see there, that 360 jam and warm-ups by Gilo, just showcasing that athleticism of what he has in store for us tonight. It's a lot of size, speed, and athleticism versus that Raider ability to knock down shots at big-time moments coming down the stretch. And we'll see how this Raider team responds to a much more overall, a team with much more size overall than the Glen Lake Lakers on last Friday night.
Well, we'll see. I think if anything, you go up against a team as tall as obviously Gaylord is. I think that puts more pressure on I'll say our football players to bring the grit and determination. And even though you might not be the tallest guys out there, you certainly can try to compensate for that and even to score a little bit by how hard you play, going after the ball, boxing out, doing those little things that you don't have to be huge to do effectively against every team. So we saw Charlevoix handle a big man last week in Plamondon with Glen Lake. The only issue I see here looking up, instead of only having one big guy, it looks like Gaylord could probably put 2 or 3 out there at one time. But again, he can overcome that with good defense. I think it's going to put probably more pressure on your outside shooters. I think Gaffney's going to, with his abilities from outside, I think maybe the difference in this one, because you'd have to guess, Charles, that, rebounding tonight on either end of the court is going to be a challenge. Just playing some guys that are, look to be 6'6", maybe one guy looking towards 6'7".
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a point of emphasis for the Raiders to do their best with, you would imagine that the Blue Devils will have the advantage rebounding. So the Blue Devils will have an opportunity to earn some extra possessions by offensive rebounds. So it'll be important for the Raiders to take real good care of the basketball and take good shot selection. You need to get the best shot possible, figuring that you're not going to get a lot of second-chance opportunities against a team as big as Gaylord that will be able to clear the defensive rebounds.
Well, the other thing I think would be important to see how it unfolds is, is Gaylord susceptible to the fast break, the outlet pass?
Sure. Which
Michigan State obviously has made a career out of. So I think that's another piece is Charlevoix able to get the ball out downfield quickly and beat that, Gaylord defense back to the backboard. So that's another weapon. I mean, just because a team's taller than you doesn't automatically mean anything. It just puts more pressure on the other facets of the game and how good you are at those other facets. And we talked about outside shooting being one of those facets. We talked about the ability to fast break as one of those assets. Again, probably Charlevoix, if they don't have the fast break, they're going to have to be patient, looking for maybe that open jumper, not necessarily the 3. But this one will be an interesting one to see unfold. Again, just playing probably one of the taller teams that Charlevoix, I'll guess Charles, will run into all year long.
Dennis, I completely agree with that assessment right there. I mean, you want to talk about the two styles that we're going to have on deck tonight, and styles is what we say makes fights in basketball. The Raiders' ability to make those three-pointers and their uncanny ability to make those three-pointers in clutch moments versus the Blue Devils' overall size and ability. We'll see what happens tonight when these two teams square off. Once again, this is the Jimmy John's pregame show here on Next Level Broadcasting, coming to you live from Charlevoix High School. Blue Devils and Raiders getting things ready to go here. And if you're just now joining us, the girls' game was a dandy. Blue Devils won that one by 3 points. The Blue Devils were up by 14 points at half. The Raiders came storming back to take the lead. And then the Lady Blue Devils finished
very same night. But I tell you what, Charles, with what you just said, this game's going to have to go a long way to beat the excitement of that first game.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to see what we've got going between these two teams. We're going to step aside here and get a quick word from our sponsors. When we come back, about 4 minutes away from tip-off between Blue Devils and Raiders, boys varsity coming up after these messages. This is high school basketball on Next Level Broadcasting.
We all know that Jimmy John's is everyone's go-to option for freaky fast subs. But did you know that they're unveiling new menu options? That's right. Jimmy John's new menu has something for everyone and is a great way to feed the whole family. So, whether you're watching the big game, hard at work, or taking the family out to eat, Jimmy John's wants to make finding a gourmet sandwich easy. The crew of Next Level Broadcasting trusts their pregame meals to Jimmy John's, and you should too, at Jimmy John's in Gaylord.
Vision Source and Gaylord Eye Care are proud to be offering their services to local communities across northern Michigan. With locations in Gaylord, Boyne City, Bel Air, and Sheboygan, they're committed to serving you and providing a trusted source of credentials and expertise. If you're struggling with anything vision related, then don't hesitate to schedule a consultation and meet their friendly and experienced staff for yourself.
Okay, welcome back into the Jimmy John's pregame show here, live from Charlevoix High School. Gaylord Blue Devils and Charlevoix Raiders about 3 minutes away from tipping things off here. Big game on tap tonight, Tuesday Night Hoops here, sponsored by Jimmy John's, the Gaylord Eye Care Center, Charlevoix Auto, Bingham Insurance here in Charlevoix as well, bringing this game to you, and our friends, the Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport, making tonight's game possible wherever you're tuning in from. Thanks for making us a part of your Tuesday evening. Charles Strail, Dennis Halverson, and Steve Weber, the crew of Next Level Broadcasting here, getting ready. And Dennis, if this game is as good as that first one, we're in for a treat. So wherever you're tuning in from, put another log on the fire or put another liquid beverage in that cup and settle in for what should be a really good game tonight.
Yeah, hopefully you guys have caught your breath. Those of you that tuned in for the great first game of the night, first game of the season for both Lady Raiders and the Lady Blue Devils here, and they did not disappoint. If you hadn't have paid my way in here tonight, Charles, for working for the station, I'd have paid my way in here just to see that first game.
That was worth the price of admission.
That was worth popcorn and admission and everything. That was just a phenomenal game. Both teams played their hearts out, went right down to the wire, which looked like a game that wasn't going to go much beyond halftime score-wise. And, man, did the Raiders pull up on the stick on that one. and made a doggone game and came close to pulling off what I would consider the upset in game one here tonight.
Well, maybe game two will be close to what game one was. And, you know, Dennis, a lot of times we talk about the players that are the headliners, but we want to talk about some auxiliary players. And, you know, I don't want to say Robin to the Batman, but for the Raiders, that's definitely Peyton Scott, also Vollmer and Troy Nickel. And that sixth man award could potentially be going to Logan Watkins, and he made an impact of that game versus Glen Lake on Friday night with his speed, athleticism, and defensive ball pressure. For the Blue Devils, look for players like Trino Lamorato to run the show for them to get a lot of things going offensively, get Gaylord into their sets that they want to try and establish. Also, look for Aiden Locker to be a contributor on the wing, maybe even inside, because he'll probably have a height advantage whoever he sees on him by that Raider defense. Peyton Scott, a Raider, also we want to make mention of 18 points in the first game versus Ellsworth, a very efficient 18 points we want to add. He had a quiet game against Glen Lake, but hit two big-time three-pointers in the fourth quarter in that one, Dennis and everybody tuning in. So 14 and white, a player that likes to play well when the lights shine brightest. That's clutch time. That's Peyton Scott for the Raiders. But both teams, Luke Gilo for the Blue Devils, that get things going, get the Blue Devils initiated offensively, and offensively for the Raiders, a lot of that offense starts with Joe Gaffney.
Again, you talked about Joe Gaffney. He had 5 3-pointers just this week, which is a pretty good accomplishment, 5 in one game.
Yeah, he had 5 in that first quarter, so
yep.
I'd imagine that Blue Devil scouting report is very focused on getting out to Gaffney on the perimeter. He'll shoot it from 24, 25 feet, as we're going to step aside for the national anthem here, and then get into the starting lineups, and then finally get going here from Charlevoix High School.
Please remove your hats, and everyone able, please stand, placing your hand over your heart as we proudly sing our national anthem.
All right, getting ready for boys varsity basketball here from Charlevoix High School. Blue Devils and the Raiders on deck, ready to get things tipped off from Charlevoix High School. And, well, Dennis, this should be a pretty good game. Both teams with a lot of athleticism, 2 different opposing styles. Raiders want to bombard you from 3, pressure you on the ball. Blue Devils want to use that size and athleticism to just kind of grind teams down. So we'll see what both teams have in store this evening. Blue Devils start Trino Lamorato, Aiden Locker, Connor Fake. Last 2 starters for the Blue Devils will be Luke Gilo, number 22, and last but not least, William Bethy. Head coach of the Blue Devils is Boyne City Rambler, or alumni Boyne City Rambler, Zach Napont. So Napont graduated from Boyne City High School in 2015. Played on a team that went to the state semifinals. Starting for the – okay, go ahead. What's your point?
I was going to say good player in his own right. He also was a University of Michigan on the staff there as a student intern. So he's seen a lot of basketball, played a lot of basketball. I used to work with his mom over at Charlevoix ISD, so I kind of watched the kid grow up. Kind of melancholy seeing him now, heading up this Gaylord team here tonight.
Certainly a lot of experience for Napont to he's only in his third year, but he's, seen a lot of basketball in his days. For the Blue Devils, they're getting ready to go. Luke Gilo will tip it off. 5 starters for the Raiders: Gaffney, Pearl, Vollmer, Nickel, and Scott. Dennis, are you ready for some basketball?
Yeah, I think I've caught my breath, and I'm sitting back here, so I ask those of you at home to sit back, enjoy the ride. If you got some comment or question, we got our call-in line going. If you are from someplace nice and warm and sunny, make sure you give us a shout-out and let us know you're out there.
All right, boys varsity basketball getting ready. Vollmer versus Gilo. Blue Devils with the offensive tip controlled. Gilo has it for the Blue Devils over, and it's back to Lamorato. Finding Gilo being guarded by Peyton Scott. Left-hand drive, no good. Fouled on the floor. Gilo go to the free throw line for the first free throws of the game. That foul was called on Ryan Pearl. So the big man in the middle's first foul for the Raiders, his first foul of the game. Gilo to the free throw line for his first free throw attempts.
Charles, would you put him at 6'8", 6'9", maybe, Gilo?
I'd say Gilo's probably about a 6'6", but that wingspan definitely looks like there might be a 6'7", 6'8" wingspan as he gets both to drop at the charity stripe for their opening points of the game. Blue Devils showing some full court man-to-man pressure, actually pressuring in the corners as they drop back into a man pressure defense, but looks to potentially trap in the corners. Pearl finds Scott. Raiders should be able to get some open shots on the baseline as Scott puts one up.
Foul,
rebounded inside by the Blue Devils, controlled by Aiden Locker. He goes all the way down and no good. Smoked the layup. Second chance, no good. Rebound by Lamorato back up top. Swung around, and Locker now with the Blue Devils goes inside. Back to Lotto on the no good. Rebound by the Raiders.
Gaylord about 0 for 5 on that possession.
Troy Nickel pushing tempo, looking for some help, finds Ryan Pearl. Pearl to Scott. Joe Gaffney puts it on the deck. Gaffney inside, no good. Gets his own offensive rebound. Jump ball, possession to the Raiders, and a lot of action so far going on between these two teams.
Yeah, that first minute, pretty intense from both sides, although not much to show for it.
Joe Gaffney gets it in the corner. Turnover stolen by Trino Lamorato. 3-on-1 break for the Blue Devils. Inside it goes Gilo with a hard foul by Troy Nickel. He'll earn himself a trip back to the free throw line to potentially get his third and fourth points of the contest.
Well, Charles, I don't know, unless you got some inside information, I'm going to say that Gilo goes 6'7", 6'8".
Okay, I mean, and smooth, too. You watch him move. It's very smooth.
Smooth, long legs, like you mentioned, long arms. Left-handed free throw shooter, a little unusual. Not very, broad, though. Probably, a little on the slight side, but at that height, you don't need to be that big around.
Second free throw doesn't go as Ryan Pearl controls his second rebound of the game. 3-0 for the Blue Devils, showing that extended pressure, kind of like a run and jump look defensively full court by the Blue Devils being deployed here. There's a foul called against Luke Gilo as he reached in, almost had a free swipe, and that would have been a free Showtime moment if that wasn't called a foul.
We would have seen a windmill, but the interesting matchup there, Gaylord playing a man-to-man, Gilo's on Joe Gaffney.
And I would imagine that's to try to take away the shooting prowess of Gaffney, to try to keep that length on top of Gaffney's ability to get those open jump shots.
Well, Gaffney probably one of the least tall guys, being guarded by the tallest guy
look for some of the other Raiders to take advantage of their matchups as Peyton Scott drives.
Nice
corner
move.
kick to Vollmer, swung around to Nickel. Nickel drives inside, back to Scott. Nice ball movement for the Raiders, and they can't get the layup, and it's a wedgie between the backboard and the rim. Excellent ball movement by the Raiders, but Scott couldn't get that one to go off the window. Tough luck miss for the Raiders, and the Blue Devils will have it here.
And you got to score on that. Everything was working except the ball going down the hole.
As Gilo has it now for the Blue Devils, bringing it across the timeline. 3-0 lead. They go down to Aiden Locker. Back to Gilo. Corner three-pointer, no good. Rebounded, controlled by Pearl. That's his third of the game. Gaffney back up to Pearl, and the Raiders find Gaffney. Gaffney putting it on the deck. Layup is in, and the Raiders break the seal. It's 3-2, first points of the game for Joe Gaffney.
Yeah, kind of interesting. The tall guy bringing the ball up.
Well, Gilo's going to handle the majority of the ball handling for the Blue Devils tonight, I would imagine, Dennis, as there's a 15-foot jump shot that rolls around. No good. Hudson Vollmer with the board. Raiders have numbers if they push. Pirouetting by Pearl, back out to Vollmer.
You got to take that shot.
Vollmer puts it on the deck. No good on the driving layup. And Blue Devils having a 3-on-4 break, no numbers. Locker has it in the corner, pulls the three-pointer. Got it! And first three-pointer is down by Aiden Locker, and the Blue Devils up 6-2.
Well, Gaylord not playing a point guard, obviously.
There's Joe Gaffney driving down the lane, kicks it to Scott, and Scott will set things up for the Raiders up top. Pearl looking to find a man. He'll drive, pump fake, back to Gaffney in the corner for the long gun. Too strong. Inside and controlled by Gilo. Gilo driving inside, and he's fouled. That'll be on the ground. I think they're going to get Peyton Scott with the foul.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have leaned a little travel there. Gilo got down pretty deep, and there just wasn't space, so he just kept on pulling ahead. And lucky for him, drew the foul on Charlevoix.
Inside it goes to Gilo, doubled by Nickel, back out top. Gilo now in the corner being guarded by Scott. Faces up, pulls the three-pointer, and drops it in. Timeout taken by Anthony Troshak and the Raiders. We're going to step aside and take a quick timeout as well. 8-2 the score. Blue Devils on top. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this message from Bingham.
Business owner, you learn to wear a lot of hats. The custodian hat, the IT hat, and well, you should have called a professional hat. Auto Owners takes care of your business insurance, so you can take care of everything else. That's simple human sense.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
All right, welcome back in. It's 8-2. 5 points. The leading scorer in the game is Luke Gilo for the Blue Devils. 9-2. Gilo has 6 points. And the Raider 2 coming from Joe Gaffney. Just how you draw up this start if you are the Blue Devils. As Gaffney has it, corner it goes to Watkins. He'll drive baseline, shots up and in. So immediate impact off the bench for Logan Watkins. He gets his way into the scorer's book with a baseline layup.
Full court pressure by Charlevoix.
Yep, kind of dropping back into a half-court man defense now. Gilo being guarded by that defensive specialist in Watkins. Inside it goes, swung out to Locker. Lamorato, the three-pointer, got it. Third three-pointer of the contest for the Blue Devils. As Lamorato is in the scorer's book, he's got his first three-pointer. Little pocket pass, Gaffney to Vollmer, and it's a 12-6 game.
Now,
Vollmer in the books as well.
Gaffney with some nice assists here, finding the open guy, moving the ball well.
There's a drive down the lane. Fouled is William Bethy. He'll go to the free throw line. Foul was called on Jackson Krause.
Yeah, his first. Charlevoix, 4 team fouls here with still quite a bit of time in the first quarter. To Gaylord's 1. Charlevoix players kind of giving the ref a little bit of an earful on the 4-1 disparity and team fouls. Ref trying to explain himself.
Well, in fairness, Dennis, Gilo and the Blue Devils have, in my opinion, been the more aggressor of the two teams to start this game. As the second free throw is good. And first points of the contest for William Bethy. And we're back to basketball. Blue Devils on top of the Raiders 13-3. There's a baseline drive stolen away. Nice play made by Colin Peel. And Blue Devils have it coming across the timeline. Chance to go up by 9 or 10 points with the basket. Peel with it in the corner. Up top for Peel, three-pointer, no good. Troy Nickel clears for the Raiders. Hudson Vollmer has it. Looking, finds Watkins. Watkins shot fake, 17-foot jump shot, too strong. Skying rebound by Luke Gilo, and he clears for the Blue Devils.
He's a handful.
Crossover stolen by Watkins. Watkins in a foot race. Watkins leans in. Gaffney with the cleanup. And we see that defensive presence by Logan Watkins early on in this game. Getting that steal as he's now playing defense against Gilo.
You just don't see a big man like that dribbling the ball as much as Gilo does.
There's a right-hand drive by Peel, stolen away by Vollmer. And Vollmer will use that aggressive defense against the Blue Devils. And a foul called against Colin Peel.
So you're an aficionado of basketball.
Yeah.
Why would Gaylord, with a size advantage, post up Gilo as opposed to kind of trying to make a point guard out of him? That part doesn't make much sense.
Well, one thing is he's your best player, so you want to have the ball in his hands as much as possible. And just getting him familiar dribbling the basketball, I think, is a good way for them to do that. As Gaffney drives into the paint, finds Kraus. Kraus with the three-pointer, no good. Good box out by Peel, and Gilo has the rebound. Watkins on him like a bun on a hot dog. And Gilo turns around with the 7-foot jump shot and gets it off the glass.
He's good with the left hand. It's a little atypical to guard a guy that obviously left-handed like that who's as good as he is.
There's a steal stolen by Gilo, and the Blue Devils. Gilo's going to pull this shot. No good. Rebounded inside. Nice job by Carson Pointer. No good, stolen away, and it's going to be Blue Devil basketball. So early on in this game, that size proving to be a big factor for the Blue Devils as they've been able to kind of establish themselves. But they've made 3 three-pointers as well, so doing a little bit of everything so far to get out to this 7-point lead.
Yeah, I don't know. You gotta figure something out with Gilo. He's defensively, you're gonna have to double team that guy or something. Otherwise, this will be a long night for Charlevoix.
Gilo has it in the corner. He'll fire the three-pointer. Got it. And it's a quick 10-point advantage now. Raiders finding Kraus in the corner. Gaffney, he'll drive, penetrate, shot fake, and they call him for a travel. And Gaffney kind of looks around a little confused. Might have just shuffled, took one extra step off that pivot foot there. As it's a 10-point advantage for the Blue Devils, under a minute to go in the first quarter. Connor fake. Lamorado, Gilo, Peel. Gilo heat check. Can't get that one to drop as Peel finds it on the offensive board. Blocked, but a foul on Collins. And it'll send Carson Pointer to the free throw line for 2 shots. Yeah. Excellent job hustling by, it was Colin Peel who got that offensive rebound for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, they're aggressive. They go up to the glass. They know what to do with the ball. They are putting out lightly a handful for Charlevoix right now.
11 points is the leading scorer right now. That's Luke Gilo in the first quarter.
11 out of 19, so that shows you what a part of the offense he represents. Charlevoix is going to have to figure him out, figure something out, or he's going to be trouble all night long.
As there's a nice drive by Gaffney. He got that one to go. He took that all the way coast to coast, And that might be something he needs to do tonight. If Gilo is not guarding him, he needs to take that ball to the basket.
Yeah, you got to figure, kind of change it up. Your offense a lot of time reflects what the defense is doing for you. And Gaffney's shown some ability to drive the lane and has been pretty successful so far.
Blue Devils putting up the three-pointer, no good. Rebounded by Collins. Raiders with the chance for the last possession of the game, or quarter. Gaffney has it, probing the paint. 15-foot jump shot, no good. Rebounded by Collins inside, up and in to beat the buzzer. And the Raiders end the quarter on a 4-0 run. So after one quarter of basketball in the books, it's the Blue Devils on top of the Charlevoix Raiders 19-12 in an entertaining first half, to say the least. So it's a 7-point game after one quarter. We're going to step aside, and when we come back, we'll have second quarter action between Blue Devils and Raiders right after these messages.
Vision Source and Gaylord Eye Care are proud to be offering their services to local communities across northern Michigan. With locations in Gaylord, Boyne City, Bel Air, and Sheboygan, they're committed to serving you and providing a trusted source of credentials and expertise. If you're struggling with anything vision related, then don't hesitate to schedule a consultation and meet their friendly and experienced staff for yourself.
We all know that Jimmy John's is everyone's go-to option for freaky fast subs. But did you know that they're unveiling new menu options? That's right, Jimmy John's new menu has something for everyone and is a great way to feed the whole family. So, whether you're watching the big game, hard at work, or taking the family out to eat, Jimmy John's wants to make finding a gourmet sandwich easy. The crew of Next Level Broadcasting trusts their pregame meals to Jimmy John's, and you should too, at Jimmy John's in Gaylord.
And here we are, second quarter action from Charlevoix High School. Raiders and Blue Devils getting things going here, as the 5 on the floor for the Raiders is Nickel, Collins, Kraus, Watkins, and Vollmer. So some pivotal minutes for the Raiders without. And away from the play, foul is called, a push against the Blue Devils. Colin Peel, the guilty party for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, nice crowd here tonight. And like you mentioned, they've slowly but surely kind of filed in.
Corner goes to Hudson Vollmer. He'll drive in and have it rejected at the rim, but a foul is called, which will send Vollmer to the free throw line. For the first free throw attempts of the Raiders, that foul was called on Caden Keck for the Blue Devils.
Now Gilo taking a little bit of a breather on the bench, so if Charlevoix is going to get back into this, now would be the time.
Vollmer short on the first free throw. Dennis, you were talking about Gilo being on the bench. Gaffney on the bench as well for the Raiders. And Vollmer gets the second free throw to go, and the Raiders back to within 6 points. As it's Lemorado being hounded by Vollmer. Corner it goes, far side to Connor Fake. Up top now, stolen by Collins. It's a 2-on-1 break. He's got Watkins to his left. Collins is going to keep it and get rejected by Caden Keck at the rim. And Keck met him up top for that rejection. And he just kind of laid back, knew he had the size advantage against Collins, and waited for it.
He was in no hurry to do what he did.
Troy Nickel can't get that one to go off the inbounds pass, and it's Gilo who clears for the Blue Devils, coming back in a hurry, and he's called for the carrying violation. We don't see that one called very often. We saw that called twice, though, in that Raider game versus Ellsworth. And Gilo guilty for the carrying violation there, turning it over to the Raiders.
Well, it seems like refs kind of get on making that call. They kind of get in a little bit of a groove. If they call one, they're going to call 4 or 5. It's kind of a ubiquitous call. I think you could probably call it 80% of the possessions in any given basketball game.
Vollmer now with it for the Raiders, finds Watkins. Dribble exchange to Nickel. Corner goes to Kraus, three-point shot. It's too strong, air ball. And that's cleared by the Blue Devils. Up top it has it with Connor Fake. He's
kicked the ball, too.
Had the ball was everywhere. And then three-pointer no good by Locker. And Watkins with it for the Raiders. Pass up the head to Vollmer. Back inside to Watkins, and he's fouled inside by Carson Pointer. And that is the third team foul so far for the Blue Devils in this second quarter.
Well, that kind of makes up for the first quarter, which was primarily driven by Charlevoix fouls. And I'm sure that's what Coach had a discussion from Charlevoix about that disparity in the first quarter penalties called. Trying to make it up. It used to be rough, because at the end of the game, if it's about 50-50, everybody's happy.
Raiders down by 6 points. Troy Nickel driving inside to Lemorado. And that's a foul. Is it on the floor or on the shot? 2 shots for Troy Nickel.
On the floor.
Oh, well.
Yep. He gave it the 2 index fingers down there after the offsides call.
Yeah. Well, I saw the 2 go up for the number, and I figured that was for free throws, but it was the jersey number of Trino Lemorado. That one's stolen or knocked away by Lemorado. Peyton Scott has to track that one down. Inside pass to Troy Nickel, and they say he shuffled his feet on the catch. A lot of turnovers so far in the first half for the Raiders. That was something that they didn't do against the Lakers on Friday night, as the Blue Devils break the Raider pressure fairly easily. That's Locker driving in the middle. Euro steps, three-pointer up, three-pointer no good. Fight for the rebound, jump ball, possession error going to the Blue Devils.
You know, one good thing about being courtside, when you get behind that ball, you can kind of track it.
Right.
You got a pretty good idea if it's going to go in or not. So, again, we're in the expensive seats tonight.
Inbounds pass goes to counter fake. Gets a screen from Lemorado. Nice switch by Vollmer. Raiders defending against the post entry. Lemorado couldn't get it to go. Gets his own layup and a foul called on Joe Gaffney on the reach in. And that'll be the first team foul against the Raiders.
Well, Charlevoix had 2 rebounders right there. And the third Gaylord, the only one and only Gaylord guy, came out of the scrum with it.
Somehow got his own miss off of a layup. They don't see that happen very often, and Coach Napont wants to take a timeout. While he takes a timeout, we want to tell you about something big going on in Charlevoix at Charlevoix Auto. Right now, you can enter to win a raffle of a 65-inch LED TV at Charlevoix Auto. That's a value of about $2,000. All you got to do is stop into Charlevoix Auto and vote on your favorite Christmas decor of one of their 2 dealerships in Charlevoix, either the Charlevoix Auto Chevrolet or Charlevoix Auto Chrysler Dodge. They're having a battle of Charlevoix Auto, who's got the best Christmas decorations right now. Go in there, vote on who has the best decoration, and then you are entered to win a 65-inch LED TV, courtesy of our friends at Charlevoix Auto.
You don't have to give me a credit card number or anything.
Right, no. Just your Social Security number.
Yeah. Okay.
5:45 remaining in the second quarter. Outside it goes to Fake. Inside to another Blue Devil. I couldn't make out the jersey number, and a travel called against Connor Fake, turning it back over to the Raiders. So back-to-back travels called against each one of these teams, and we'll see if they can settle now in and find an offensive rhythm. Hudson Vollmer spinning shot, no good. Kind of an ill-advised, crazy shot there as the Blue Devils clear. That's Connor Fake, who brings it across half court.
That was definitely a low percentage shot by Vollmer.
There's a nice entry pass to Luke Gilo. He had Troy Nickel sealed off on the low block, and Nickel had no choice but to foul.
Well, Nickel drew the short straw here tonight with his assignment. He is a handful. He can do it all. Rebound, great lefty jump shot.
Inbounds pass goes to Locker. Nice seal inside by Gilo. Turning over the right shoulder and gets it to go. That's his 13th point of the contest. He's the leading scorer in tonight's game.
Again, if you're Charlevoix, you're going to have to try something.
There's a nice drive by Peyton Scott, but can't get the layup to go. Lefty layup, but couldn't finish it at the rim. Scott comes from behind and taps it away. Stolen by Gaffney and the Raiders. It's kicked by a couple of soccer players, and Gaffney has it. Floater is good. Well, if you wanted a crazy game, we've got one.
Yeah.
It's
a little sloppy at times on both ends of the court.
It's a 16-point game right now. Blue Devils up by 2 possessions. That's Connor Fake who has it, finds Trino Lemorado. Nice post entry pass to Luke Gilo, and he's eating up the Raiders inside. That's his 15th point of the contest.
But then he walks back up. I mean, there's to me, you'd have him down low. That's only me's talking.
Vollmer finds Watkins. Watkins drives, and he shuffled his feet.
Got kind of quiet in here.
Yeah, it did. You could hear a needle drop for about a half second as Lamerato over to the corner, counter fake up top for the Blue Devils. Inside it goes to Gilo, and he couldn't hang on to the pass as that one just kind of slipped through his fingertips.
Now sitting up here tonight next to Dino Davenport. Down the way, former AD at Ferris, current resident of Charlevoix, does a lot for the golf program, youth golf program in Charlevoix.
There's a nice drive by Logan Watkins all the way to the basket off the dribble handoff, and he's in the books once again for the Raiders, his second basket of the game. There's Gilo spinning baseline. Peyton Scott coming to help, and it's inside pass to Trino Lamerato, and he's up and in for two, and we're back to an 8-point game.
Well, Charles, take a look at Gaylord's defense, and we've seen Charlevoix with some success on driving the ball.
And a foul called against the Blue Devils. Well, right now what the Blue Devils are doing on some of the handoffs that the Raiders are running up top is the Blue Devils won't necessarily see man and ball, which are allowing some of those easy layups for the Raiders. Also, Blue Devils offensively finding that mismatch and getting it inside to the big fella.
Yeah, that'd be my game plan if I had a guy like that.
Watkins with his 5th point of the contest coming via the charity stripe. And
I coached girls one time, and we had one girl that was probably 6'3", 6'4", tallest person out there by far. My game plan every game is give it to Alice, give it to Alice, give it to Alice. Nobody could match up. We kind of got a similar situation here. We just not have shown the ability to stop their big guy.
Gilo takes it in, and he's called for an offensive foul, saying that he led with that left arm, and that will be his first foul. 6th team foul against the Blue Devils, though. Actually, 2nd foul on Gilo. So decision-making time now for head coach Napon if he wants to leave Gilo in the ballgame. Another foul called on the ground by Lamerato, and that will send Hudson Vollmer to the free throw line.
Well, if Napon's any clone of the girls' coach, having 4 fouls on 3 of her players, she didn't bat an eye with that.
1-1 now for Vollmer and the Raiders. Actually, they called it on the shot, but Hudson unable to knock down that first of 2 free throws.
So next Thursday, or this Thursday, day after tomorrow, we're back here.
Vollmer goes 0 for 2 from the free throw line. That one's chased down by William Bethy, and the Blue Devils have it. Unable to come away with any points off of the free throws were the Raiders, and the Blue Devils with an opportunity to go back up by 3 or 4 scores here with a 2 or 3-pointer. And there's a reach-in foul on Collins. Nice crossover by Aiden Locker, drew the foul.
Remember who we're playing again? I looked it up this afternoon. Thursday night's game is...
Thursday night the girls are playing, and man.
I know Friday is home here with Harbor Springs.
And that's going to be a big game that night as well. As the Blue Devils go to the far side corner, Lamerato with it, looking for an escape valve. He finds Fake, and that Raider ball pressure effective as Peyton Scott gets the steal. It's a 3-on-2 break for the Raiders. Scott wraps it around to Collins. Collins rejected at the rim, and Blue Devils with a great defensive possession. They come out of there with the turnover, finding Lamerato. He'll put it on the deck, drive inside, stolen, kicked around. Vollmer has it. Lamerato has it. Who has it? Vollmer's got it now. And he pushes it back. 3-on-2 break, and Peyton Scott couldn't find the handle on it. And you know what? That sequence deserved to end with a turnover, Dennis, because there was about 5 turnovers that happened during that little stretch.
Yeah, that was pretty complicated. I wasn't going to even try to do play-by-play on that, Charles. That ball was rolling around. He had it, you had it, we had it. Nobody's got it.
Both teams still trying to settle in here. A lot of ball pressure that's just been causing a lot of turnovers as the Blue Devils break that pressure, and getting it to go for his first basket of the game is William Bethy.
It's kind of reminiscent of the end of the first half of the girls' game.
Batali Collins drives, no good, going to his strong hand, but he drew the foul, so he'll go to the free throw line. It is very reminiscent of that first game. We saw a lot of fouls called against that Blue Devil defense. As you said, 3 players with 4 fouls.
And they never came out.
And the Blue Devils were successful because of that strategy. As Collins' first free throw, no good. Raiders having a hard time finding the bottom of the basket from the free throw line right now.
Yeah, and they're, in general, kind of missing, not real pretty either. Those are a lot of them way off.
Second free throw good for Collins, and it's 27-20. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Gilo being guarded by Hudson Vollmer. Over it goes to Lemorado. Inside, but stolen, poked away by Vollmer. He throws it up and throws it out of bounds. Tracked down by Watkins. Back to Kraus. Kraus back to Gaffney in the corner for a 3-ball. No good. Skying rebound by Gilo. And the Blue Devils have it.
Charlevoix just has not been able to finish the deal.
Spinning inside and finishing at the rim is Luke Gilo on the transition break. He took that one from the rebound to the rim, and it's a 9-point lead for the Blue Devils. Backdoor cut by Gaffney. Free throw line jump shot. No good. Off the rim. Rebounded by Locker and the Blue Devils. Chance to go up by double digits before halftime. Fake against Kraus. Shake and bake. Blocked at the rim by Kraus, and that foul is going against Luke Gilo. That's his 3rd personal foul.
Yeah,
that's a big one as Gilo leads all scorers right now with 17 points.
And what did that foul do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Those, like I've said before, a foul that far away from your basket.
And that's his 3rd personal foul. You know,
they're a different team without him.
For sure. For sure a different team, and we'll see if they substitute him out here. First free throw for Gaffney is good for the Raiders.
He's coming out. He's not real happy, but you got to come out first half 3 fouls.
Yeah, you don't want to run the risk of him picking up a cheap foul.
He does everything.
And second free throw, no good for Gaffney at the free throw line. Free throw woes continue for the Raiders. 30 seconds remaining. Blue Devils, I would imagine, work some clock here. Never mind. Three is good up by Locker. Bounced around off of a Blue Devil fingertip into the Raider basketball. Dennis, I would have thought that the Blue Devils would have worked a little more clock there without Gilo in the game.
Yeah, you'd have thought they'd slowed the game down a little bit, just kind of get past this first half. Charlevoix's got an opportunity here to make it
big dent in this game.
Yes, they do.
Gaffney being guarded by Fake. Corner goes to Vollmer. 2-man game by the Raiders. 3 by good for Joe Gaffney. And Gaffney ends the half on a 4-0 personal spurt. And that was a big-time 3 by Gaffney, and it dwindles the lead down to a 5-point lead for the Blue Devils going into halftime, presumably. There it goes to William Bethy, and his shot's no good. So after 2 quarters in the books, it's a 5-point game between Blue Devils and Raiders. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll have our Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport halftime show here on Next Level Broadcasting's coverage of Raider Athletics, also affiliate coverage of Gaylord Blue Devil Athletics here on Next Level Broadcasting's overall doubleheader from Charlevoix High School. We're going to step aside, hear from our sponsors, and when we come back with the Cherry Capital Airport halftime show.
Small business owner, you learn to wear a lot of hats. The custodian hat, the IT hat, and well, the you should have called a professional hat. Auto Owners takes care of your business insurance, so you can take care of everything else. That's simple human sense.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
Now's the time to fly from your Northern Michigan hometown Cherry Capital Airport. TVC. TVC Airport will get you to your dream destination anywhere in the world. Visit tvcairport.com now.
Business owner, you learn to wear a lot of hats. The custodian hat, the IT hat, and well, you should have called a professional hat. Auto Owners takes care of your business insurance, so you can take care of everything else. That's simple human sense.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
Vision Source and Gaylord Eye Care are proud to be offering their services to local communities across northern Michigan. With locations in Gaylord, Boyne City, Bel Air, and Sheboygan, they're committed to serving you and providing a trusted source of credentials and expertise. If you're struggling with anything vision related, then don't hesitate to schedule a consultation and meet their friendly and experienced staff for yourself.
We all know that Jimmy John's is everyone's go-to option for freaky fast subs. But did you know that they're unveiling new menu options? That's right, Jimmy John's new menu has something for everyone and is a great way to feed the whole family. So, whether you're watching the big game, hard at work, or taking the family out to eat, Jimmy John's wants to make finding a gourmet sandwich easy. The crew of Next Level Broadcasting trusts their pregame meals to Jimmy John's, and you should too, at Jimmy John's in Gaylord.
Now's the time to fly from your Northern Michigan hometown Cherry Capital Airport. TVC. TVC Airport will get you to your dream destination anywhere in the world. Visit tvcairport.com now.
All right, welcome into the Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport halftime show here, presented by Cherry Capital Airport, reminding you to fly Traverse City Cherry Capital to get you anywhere in the world to your dream destination, and back to Northern Michigan when you need to get back to the comforts that we call home here in Northern Michigan. Charles Trail along with Dennis Helverson. It's halftime here between Blue Devils and Raiders. It's a 5-point lead for the Blue Devils, 29-24, after an offensive explosion by one of the finest in Northern Michigan, Luke Gilo, for the Blue Devils leading the way. Dennis, what did you see that allowed Gilo to get these Blue Devils out to that 5-point lead at halftime?
Well, first of all, Coach Napont, when he saw Gilo pick up his third foul with about 3 minutes left to go in the first half, probably swallowed his gum.
Yeah.
Right then. I mean, it's been the Gilo show the first half. He does everything. He rebounds. He's got a great three-point shot. He's 6'7", and brings the ball up. I mean, he's. I wonder if he does dishes and windows back home, because he was the first half here tonight.
His parents are sitting right in front of us, and his mom is saying that he doesn't help out with a lot of household chores. Yeah, just basketball. He sticks to basketball. That's what his mom's saying, sitting 2 rows ahead of us as we're
so mom's kind of outing her son here. No, he doesn't do windows. He doesn't do dishes. Does he make his bed? He doesn't make his bed.
But he makes three-pointers, so he definitely does that, and he's got 3 three-pointers in the book so far at halftime. Dennis, his point total right now to go through what we have going on. We've got that.
Ask me that. 3, 6, 8, 10, 14. I got him at 14.
Okay, 14 points for Gilo at halftime. I think he's got a couple of free throws as well in there. We might have to check in on those free throws or the official.
He's got 2 threes, and the rest are 2s according to the scores table. So, and to kind of follow up on that, there's only Bethany has got 2.
Will Bethy, yeah.
And Locker's got 3, and Laramado has 5.
Yep. So
who's doing all the scoring?
Yeah, Gilo doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the Blue Devils, leading the way. For the Raiders, though, it's been a more well-balanced attack. Joe Gaffney leading the way, Logan Watkins pitching in as well. But for the Raiders, it's kind of been the struggles from the free throw line, but that late three-pointer by by Joe Gaffney got it to within 5 points, and it was a 4-0 run after Gaylord picked up that third personal foul.
Yeah, Gaffney's got 11 first half points with 1-3, like you said, kind of brought him to a 5-point deficit here.
Right.
You know, for a while there, I wasn't giving Charlevoix, just like the girls in the first game. At the end of that first half, I wasn't thinking Charlevoix had a chance in HELL hockey pucks. I mean, that they weren't going to, but they did. They came back. So, again, with you know, Gaylord being kind of a one-man show for all practical purposes and a good one-man show, for us to be only 5 points off, I'm happy.
Yeah, gotta like it. I mean, the Raiders, from what they were able to do, accumulated a lot of those fouls on the Blue Devils' defense, especially Gaylord with three personals. Raider foul trouble, nothing of the sort. Now, Troy Nickel did have 2 personal fouls. He came out midway through the second quarter after picking up his second personal foul. But the Raiders need to make hay at the free throw line because they're getting some open opportunities for driving lanes, but sometimes they feel like there's an invisible defender at the rim, as we've seen the Raiders come up short on a couple of pup shots, a couple of layups that are well within their skill level to make. So they'll have to clean that up. Both teams, I would say, we talked about in the pregame show, styles make fights. We said the Blue Devils are going to want to get this ball inside. They're dominating points in the paint right now as they've been able to get it inside, whether it's to Locker, Gilo, just doing their thing inside. The Raiders have hit a couple of three-pointers, and they've got that dribble drive offense to thank for a couple of easy layups and a lot of steals in transition. The Raider defense has kind of been what's holding them in this game right now.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the other thing I think we need to see happen in that second half, we got to get Peyton Scott going.
Yeah,
I mean,
that would be a big plus for the Raiders.
You got to put another weapon out there offensively. I'm pretty happy with defense, like you mentioned. I'm pretty happy with the drives that Charlevoix is getting, and you mentioned the fact that Gaffney, a couple of them, he just drove like everybody was standing still, like freeze frame.
Yeah.
And those were almost too easy. Coach for Gaylord can't be happy with that, but you got to get Peyton Scott involved. I think it's going to be huge that the big guy there, Gilo's got 3 points going into the
or 3 fouls.
You got to wonder if he comes out in the third quarter to start.
I would imagine he would play him a little bit, just kind of roll the dice there to keep him in rhythm. So we'll see what happens on the other side of about 2 minutes away from tipping off the third quarter here. Actually, I shouldn't say tip off, but starting the third.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, thanks, partner. This has been the Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport halftime show here on Next Level Broadcasting. We'll step aside when we come back. Third quarter action. This is high school basketball on Next Level Broadcasting.
Now's the time to fly from your Northern Michigan hometown Cherry Capital Airport. TVC. TVC Airport will get you to your dream destination anywhere in the world. Visit tvcairport.com now.
Small business owner, you learn to wear a lot of hats. The custodian hat, the IT hat, and well, you should have called a professional hat. Auto Owners takes care of your business insurance, so you can take care of everything else. That's simple human sense.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
Hannah again with Charlevoix Auto. Don't let summer pass you by. Get into a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram today and make this the summer event. Lease a sleek new Compass for an amazing $339 a month. Elevate your journey in a stylish Grand Cherokee for $429 a month. Or unleash the power of a 4x4 Ram pickup for $459 a month. Don't miss out on getting into your perfect ride for less at Charlevoix Auto on US 31 South near the Charlevoix Airport. Your trusted local dealership.
Welcome back in. Third quarter about to get going here as we start. This will be brought to you by Cherry Capital Airport. The third quarter sponsored by Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport, proud sponsor of Next Level Broadcasting and all of our endeavors, whether it's basketball, football. Cherry Capital Airport reminding you that when you fly TVC.
I just was through there last Sunday coming back from Aruba. And I've never been so happy to see an airport in a long time.
I'm sure that that's the case, Dennis, as we're underway here in the third quarter. Blue Devils and Raiders with 16 minutes left to go.
Well, you were right, Charles. Gaylord's back out there starting this third quarter with 3 fouls. Garden.
Drive inside by Troy Nickel, and he gets it up and to go for the Raiders' first basket of the second half. So since Gaylord picked up that third personal foul, it's been a 6-0 run by the Raiders. There one's deflected out of bounds by Peyton Scott. It'll be Blue Devil basketball, and we've got a 3-point game to start the third quarter.
Charlevoix's feeling it a little bit, at least coming out here early in the third quarter.
And nice catch by Peel on the baseline.
We all saw his foot was out of bounds. I could see that from here.
Well, that's the benefits of sitting courtside. Unfortunately, only 3 officials on the floor that didn't see that one.
I left my whistle in my other pants.
Oh man! Well, you should have changed before you left yoga. As Gaylord tees up the 3-pointer and drops it in, his third 3-pointer of the contest, and he strokes it from deep to extend the lead back to 6 points.
Man, if I was Gaffney, I would get the ball and I would dribble right at him every single possession. Because they're guarding each other. I mean, that's Gaylord's draw there.
Raiders looking a little bit more comfortable on offense right now as they work against this Blue Devil defense. Corner goes to Vollmer. 3-pointer on the way. Good. And Vollmer answers back, and we've got a 3-point game now. Vollmer getting it going. That's his, I believe, 6th or 7th point of the contest. And maybe that 3-pointer can ignite him so far. He's been a little cold from the free throw line. As Peel now being guarded by Vollmer, gets a screen up top. Gaylord working against Peyton Scott, gets it. He's got a little ISO play. Ball screen coming, dribbles out of it. Now being doubled by Pearl, and he traveled.
Yeah. He's complaining, but he moved that foot.
Was it the pivot foot that he might have just shuffled a little bit there?
Yep. A little frustrated at that, but that was a good call.
So Raiders with an opportunity to cut this to 1 point or tie with the 3-pointer now.
That's all right.
Gaffney, Nickel, Vollmer, Pearl, and Scott, the 5 on the floor for the Raiders. Gaffney has it up top, gets a screen, 16-foot jump shot, got it. So Gaffney with his 13th point of the contest, Dennis, and it's a 1-point game as Lamorato being, wow, nice play, nice pass inside. Lamorato found an open Blue Devil for the bucket. He found William Bethy inside.
That was too easy. A little defensive lapse there by the Raiders.
Nickel has it. Nice backdoor cut by Vollmer. He gets it to go. Nice find, Nickel to Vollmer, backdoor, and a much better rhythm here offensively in the second half as Peyton Scott picks up a personal foul. That'll be his team's first foul. And the only thing about that foul is roughly 65 feet from the basket. But I like the aggressiveness by Scott as the Blue Devils inbound to Locker.
Well, that was a nice hit by Nickel. I mean, that was just a bullseye pass.
Locker probes his way, stolen by Vollmer. Vollmer is going to wisely pull it back out as the Raider offense has been pretty effective so far in the third quarter. He'll dribble handoff to Troy Nickel. Nickel goes back to Vollmer. Left-hand drive all the way. No good. Rolled around and out. Everything but the bucket by Vollmer at the rim. And he gets the steal here. It's him versus Lamorato, one-on-one opportunity. Vollmer head fake, shots up, shots good. Vollmer with a little.
Charlevoix lead.
Charlevoix with the lead. Vollmer with a 6-0 spurt here to start the third quarter, and the Blue Devils need an answer. Gaylord's going to pull the three-pointer, no good. Rebounded by Peel. And Blue Devils fortunate to get that one. Nice job by Peel. Stolen by Pearl. Look up ahead to Vollmer. Vollmer going all the way for another layup.
Gracious.
And it's an 8-0 personal run by Vollmer. Actually, 9-0 run by Vollmer to start the third quarter. He's exploded. And Charlevoix up by 3 points. Blue Devils need an answer. Gaylord pulling the three-pointer. Too strong. Rebounded, tracked down, nice play inside to Lamorato, trying to save it, stolen by Nickel, and a foul called against Luke Gaylord. That's his 4th personal foul.
Oh, my gracious.
A wild third quarter. Hudson Vollmer has erupted here, Dennis.
Man, this is, I don't know what was in their Gatorade at the half, but
Hudson Vollmer has 9 points in the third quarter for the Raiders.
In how many minutes?
in just over 3 minutes of play.
Yeah.
And Vollmer's got it going on right now. Big thing for the Raiders right now, the defense and the ability to rebound. They've had 2 turnovers forced, and off those turnovers they got layups.
Man, this has been a phenomenal first 4 minutes in the third quarter for the Raiders. They look fantastic. Gilo going to probably be sitting a while with 4 fouls on him, and this is, like we mentioned, a totally different Gaylord look when he's on the bench, not on the floor.
Well, right now for the Blue Devils, it's definitely a gut check time for all the auxiliary players. I mean, fortunately for them, their backcourt of Trino Lamorado is a senior. He's been on varsity for 3 years. So between Lamorado, Locker, and William Bethy, those 3 senior starters, they're going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting now without Gilo on the floor. So we'll see what the depth of this Blue Devil team is starting out here with presumably you're going to have to go right around 8 to 9 minutes without your leading scorer.
Yeah, that definitely evens the playing field with him on the bench. He was a force to be reckoned with, and Charlevoix really didn't have an answer for him. But the answer comes easier with him sitting where he's sitting right now.
Dribble weave by Charlevoix. Peyton Scott drives baseline for the deuce, and Charlevoix has opened up a 5-point lead. They've turned this one on its side, and he had 2 opportunities at the rim, but just couldn't find the bottom of the net.
Well, Gaylord's in a funk right now. You see them; they're just kind of in a funk.
Well, it's that invisible player called the Mojo.
Yeah.
And Charlevoix certainly has that momentum right now.
You think psychologically, too, you got your star on the bench with 4 fouls. Not a place you've been a whole lot without him available to the
There's
to
a
the
block,
effort.
and that was a block called against, actually an offensive foul against Ryan Pearl, his second or third foul. So Ryan Pearl in some foul trouble as well. Raiders in the midst of outscoring the Blue Devils by 10 points right now in this third quarter.
Man, 2 of these in a row. I'm glad I put new batteries in my pacemaker.
Yeah, glad. Me too. And Lamorado will earn his trip to the free throw line. That's a veteran move there by a player that's played 3 years of varsity basketball, Dennis, just trying to get to the free throw line.
Yeah, Scott thought he got all ball. He was frustrated with the call, but, you know, those can go 50-50 either way.
First free throw by Lamorado's no good. And checking in for the Raiders is Vitaly Collins replacing Peyton Scott.
Well, I think what will happen with Gilo on the bench, that's going to free up Gaffney a lot more than he was, because that's who was guarding him. And getting a 6'7" guy off your back's got to be a good thing.
There's Troy Nickel clearing it. Gaffney, 3-pointer from the corner, too strong. Rebounded, controlled by Watkins. Inside to Gaffney. He's got it. Fouled. Shot's good. Counted in the foul. Joe Gaffney going to the line for a 3-point play opportunity. And the Blue Devils looking to make some substitutions here. They're sending 2 players to the scorer's table to check in. They will send in, let's see here, Noah Vanderveer and Carson Pointer checking back in for the Blue Devils. Gaffney going to the line for the old-fashioned 3-point play, and he gets it.
Boy, Coach for the Gaylord team is trying to push some buttons and levers here to try to keep this one in hand.
Yeah, Gaylord just trying to stop the bleeding here as this Charlevoix defensive pressure has turned up the heat. Connor Fake takes the deep 3-pointer, and that's no good, air ball. And Blue Devils just trying to find a way to stay afloat right now.
Well, they look a little lost, to be honest with you. The captain's not out there, and they look a little lost and a little frustrated. Charlevoix, on the other hand,
look comfortable.
Yeah.
Jackson Krause has it at the high post. Gaffney gets it back. Gaffney probing the defense back to Watkins. Watkins traveled.
Yeah.
You know, his feet are so quick, Dennis, that I think sometimes he's so used to moving fast that his feet just...
Yeah, don't catch up with the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, Charlevoix just got to keep the pressure on. Don't let your foot off the gas pedal if you're the Raiders. Because eventually we're going to see Gilo back in there, and we know what effort he can give.
Biggest thing that the Raiders need to do right now is not foul.
Yeah.
Right now, the Blue Devil offense is really kind of stuck in neutral, as the Blue Devils are going to make a replacement. Keck coming out, being replaced by Connor Byram. Connor Byram, All-State nomination this year for his place-kicking field goals and kickoff this year for the Gaylord Blue Devil team that went to a quarterfinal game. Watkins and Vanderveer, no good. Watkins smoked the layup. Jackson Krause crashing in there. That's going to be a loose ball foul on Krause and the Raiders.
Yeah, the referee giving Coach Troshak a little warning there on the sideline, getting a little bit too involved, and he got pointed at. And they're having a little conversation there about it. And the ref isn't having any of it. He's walking away. No, he's not going to walk away. He's going to get a couple jabs in. Coach Troshak still with him. And we got another game going on over by the bench. Oh, come on, guys. Shake hands.
So
get the game on, man. It's getting late.
It'll be a free throw opportunity now for the Blue Devils. Stepping to the free throw line is Carson Pointer. His first shot's up and in, and that breaks a long scoring drought for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, that 43 there for Gaylord's a big kid. Huh?
That's that Connor Byram. Yep, like I said,
he's a kicker, eh?
Yep, first team All-State, Division III.
He doesn't look like a kicker. He looks like a linebacker.
Well, he also plays defensive end.
Ah.
As the Raiders have it up by 6 points. Backdoor cut deflected away by Carson Pointer, and the Raiders making a substitution here. Logan Watkins being replaced by Peyton Scott.
So is Byram, he's just a junior. I bet you he's got some colleges taking a look at him anyway.
Oh, for sure. As the Raiders inbound this one to Scott. Batali Collins in the corner being guarded by Pointer. And that one is thrown away by the Raiders. So after that hot start to the third quarter, Raiders have kind of slowed down a little bit here.
They certainly have.
Giving the Blue Devils an opportunity to really stave off that run that the Raiders had in this game.
Yeah, they kind of lost what got them here. A little out of focus.
Vanderveer passes to Pointer,
Travel.
and Pointer traveled, shuffled his feet as he was being guarded by this vaunted Raider defense that has really picked up the intensity in the second half.
Well, we need to have a few more there from Joe Gaffney. He's got the ability to light this one on fire if he wants to. So just as this third quarter is coming to a close.
Gaffney with 6 points in the quarter right now. He's got 17 for the Raiders in the game. As away from the play foul called against the
Byram.
Blue Devils on Connor Byram. And Vollmer to trigger the inbounds, finds Krause. Back to the corner goes to Vollmer. Three-pointer was too strong. Rebounded by Pointer for the Blue Devils. And it's Connor Fake with it.
Charlevoix got to ratchet up on defense.
Locker with the left-handed drive. Nice shot off the window, and it's back to a 4-point game. So the Blue Devils have responded well here in the last 2 minutes, Dennis. It's a 4-point lead for the Raiders, closing in on the end of the third quarter. Looks like Charlevoix is content taking the last shot of the quarter.
Yeah, I thought Charlevoix's lost a little focus the last couple of minutes here, and Gaylord was a little off-kilter with Gilo on the sidelines, but they've overcome that.
Gaffney to Collins. Collins, the three-pointer, no good. Tracked down by Byram, but fouled by Jackson Krause. And that will send Connor Byram to the free throw line. And an opportunity for the Blue Devils to trim this lead down to 2 points before the start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, last couple of minutes that Coach Trozak wishes he had back.
I mean, it's just the way that the Raiders have been playing with this lead that have allowed the Blue Devils to kind of get back into it, and fouling has been the leading cause of that, as the first of 2 free throws is no good by Byram at the free throw line, but the Raiders putting the Blue Devils on the line.
Yeah, making it a little easier to maybe get back in this.
Oh, for sure.
1 point at a time. Again, we're going to see Gilo back. It's just a matter of when.
Right. Second free throw for Byram is no good. Rebounded by Scott and the Raiders, and this is going to be wound down, knocked out of bounds by Locker, and that'll do it for 3 quarters to play. Raiders with a big-time frame. They outscore the Blue Devils by 9 points and take the lead. We're going to step aside here, and we come back third quarter action on Next Level Broadcasting's high school basketball coverage right after these messages.
Vision Source and Gaylord Eye Care are proud to be offering their services to local communities across northern Michigan. With locations in Gaylord, Boyne City, Bel Air, and Sheboygan, they're committed to serving you and providing a trusted source of credentials and expertise. If you're struggling with anything vision related, then don't hesitate to schedule a consultation and meet their friendly and experienced staff for yourself.
We all know that Jimmy John's is everyone's go-to option for freaky fast subs. But did you know that they're unveiling new menu options? That's right, Jimmy John's new menu has something for everyone and is a great way to feed the whole family. So, whether you're watching the big game, hard at work, or taking the family out to eat, Jimmy John's wants to make finding a gourmet sandwich easy. The crew of Next Level Broadcasting trusts their pregame meals to Jimmy John's, and you should too, at Jimmy John's in Gaylord.
All right, here we are, fourth quarter action here, presented by the Gaylord Eye Care Center. It's 42-38. Don't look anywhere else right now, but if you do need to look and find that your eyesight's a little bit out of whack, you need to step on and slide into the Gaylord Eye Care Center with 4 locations in Bel Air, Boyne City, Gaylord, and Sheboygan to get those eyes checked, because you don't want to miss the fourth quarter action here between Raiders and Blue Devils as we get things underway here, fourth quarter. Luke Gilo still on the bench for the Blue Devils, but they did make a nice little comeback in that third quarter after being down 8. They're down 4 as Aiden Locker drives against Batali Collins.
Yeah, Charlevoix so far playing great defense. Covering the ball. Good man-on-man. It's the steal there.
Stolen away by the Raiders. Ryan Pearl back into the game. He's playing with 3 fouls as well. Finds Peyton Scott. And over to Troy Nickel, driving left, blocked at the rim by Connor Byram. And if you're wondering if he's got some athleticism in him, Dennis.
Yeah, I saw a little bit there. How'd you like that big hook coming at you? It caused me to shudder a little. He's a big boy.
As Byram rejects Nickel at the rim, Peyton Scott finds Vollmer over in the corner. Raiders moving it around the perimeter. And foul on the floor.
I think that was on number 21 for Gaylord, Carson Pointner.
Pointer with the blocking foul. Joe Gaffney checking back into the game for the Raiders. Also checking back in for the Blue Devils will be Peel and Bethy, replacing Vanderveer and Fake.
So when do you put your big guy back in if you're over there?
I'd say you got to bring him back in at the 5-minute mark. Corner three-pointer for Peyton Scott is good.
We've been waiting for that.
As we talked about in the pregame show, Peyton Scott has a knack for making big-time shots. And there's this first fourth quarter three-pointer of the night. He had 2 fourth quarter threes against Glen Lake. Nice drive inside, but no good by Locker, and the Raiders have it in transition. Gaffney leading the charge. Corner goes to Scott, and Scott was fouled as he was trying to pass back to Gaffney. And that was a nice foul by Peel, or else Gaffney might have stepped into a jump shot.
Yeah, that was his 3rd foul, though.
But he had to do it to save off a wide-open shot for a good shooter. As the Raiders back up by 7 points now. Troy Nickel finds Ryan Pearl. Pearl to Gaffney. Gaffney with a little head fake. Back to Pearl. Three-pointer for Pearl. Shot is good.
Oh, man.
Pearl with the rainbow gun. Skittles fell out of that one as Ryan Pearl puts the Raiders up 12.
That almost hit the fluorescent lights on the top of this gym. That baby was so high. That was going to cause some rain or snow. That was so high, but it went through.
Pearl's first basket of the game comes in the fourth quarter. Inside it goes to Connor Byram, and he's whistled for an offensive foul on Troy Nickel. And turnover by the Raiders. And
well, you can't be playing like it's football out there, throwing those arms around. It was right in front of the ref.
You know, I like Byram's mentality. Just got to do a better job of hiding the mentality with a little more nuance back down.
Well, the physicality has to be within reason, and that was just a little bit
little too much there,
too much.
Especially when you're right in front of the official, as we've seen some tight calls in this game. Vollmer hands off to Troy Nick. Actually, Vollmer's going to keep it. Shot fake. Shots up and in. Vollmer playing some very headsy basketball so far, and the Raiders extend this one to a 12-point lead.
Gilo's back in the game.
Yep. That
They
5.
had to do something.
Yep. He came back in at the 6-minute mark as the Raiders are on an 8-0 run to start this quarter. Rebounded by Vollmer. Look up ahead to Gaffney. Up to Scott. 2-on-1 break for the Raiders. Peyton Scott fouled. Gets the bucket to go. He'll go to the free throw line for an and one opportunity. And this Raider team's got some spurt.
They're feeling it now. They are feeling it. Gaffney trying to rally up some more. I'm not so sure how much more energy Charlevoix can show than they're showing right now.
You know, Dennis, this Raider team, the tallest player might be Ryan Pearl on the floor right now at 6'2".
Maybe.
But they don't play like they're
That's
only
with their shoes
6'2".
on.
Right, as Peyton Scott couldn't get that one to drop from the free throw line. Nickel comes out of there. Scott comes back, tipped. And it's Locker on the breakaway for the Blue Devils, and he'll get it to go. And that's something that the Blue Devils needed badly.
Well, that was bad luck for Charlevoix. They had 2 or 3 chances to glom onto that ball, and that had some possum grease on it for Charlevoix. They just could not bring it in.
Troy Nickel driving into Luke Gilo. Count it, and the foul.
Who's it going to be on?
Right. I don't think it's on Gilo. I think it's going to be a technical.
And a technical as well.
Technical foul has just been called as well against Locker.
Yeah,
Aiden Locker picked up the tee.
Ouch.
And who's the personal foul on? That's the bigger question right now.
Well, it is what it is, man. You can't be acting out like that. But they haven't really called. Gilo was in the neighborhood.
But I don't think he was the guilty party on the foul.
Whatever the case, it's going to send Troy Nickel to the foul line here with Charlevoix 14-point lead. Make it 15. And what do we got going on here again?
Okay.
The ejection.
So we just had another technical foul being
ejected
administered,
him.
and he was ejected. So unfortunately for the Blue Devils, Aiden Locker is going to get an early shower tonight.
He's going to the bus.
Now, that was also his 5th personal foul. So he got that 5th personal foul and then got double technicals on top of it.
Well, everybody was looking down at Nickel shooting the technical foul all by himself, and then behind the play, again, Locker just couldn't keep his mouth shut, apparently, and within earshot of the ref, and he tossed him. I haven't seen a kid tossed on 2 technicals maybe ever.
That was definitely something that we haven't seen. I've never seen it. You know, I do a lot of basketball games.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for a while.
20 years, I never saw a kid tossed out with 2
Now,
tees.
with that being said, it was his 5th foul, so he was already
He was going either way.
Yeah.
But he had to leave the gym.
Right.
He's out there in the lobby right now grabbing some popcorn or something because he's not coming in here again.
As Joe Gaffney hits the 2 technical free throws, and he's going to get 2 more free throws. So Gaffney with an opportunity he's got 20 points right now. If he makes this free throw, it'll be his 21st point of the contest.
So it's an 18-point game, 19-point game, and Charlevoix gets the ball back. And have they even shot the foul yet?
Well, Troy Nickel shot the free throws.
Okay.
So he went 2 of 2 at the line. Gaffney went 4 of 4 at the line. So 6 points and the ball. Raiders could potentially make this a 9-point swing.
What a turn of events.
As it's Gaffney, Nickel, Watkins, Pearl, and Scott. Watkins with it on the corner. Pirouettes into the lane. Blocked by Lemorado. Nice defensive play. He'll push it in transition. He finds Pointer. Inside to Gilo. Post entry. Shots up, no good. Rebounded, put back, still no good. He'll go to the free throw line, though. He got fouled on the offensive putback. And, Dennis, where would this game be right now if, Luke Gilo hadn't picked up that 3rd foul in the 2nd quarter?
It would be totally different. It would be 180-degree different. But, you look, Charles, Charlevoix with a 19-point lead. There's only 4:40 to go here. 19 points with, that's a lot of makeup to do.
Gilo's first free throw attempt is around and out. But, it just goes to show you basketball can change so drastically.
Emotionally,
too, yeah. I mean, you talk about the momentum of this game.
Well, you talked about spurts. It's a game of spurts. There were some weird spurts, but regardless, I mean, there was like multiple spurts going on at once. It was like a doggone sprinkler going on in here.
As Gilo gets the second of 2 free throws, Gaylord's going to have to pressure quite a bit right now, and they foul Peyton Scott, and that is the 5th team foul against the Blue Devils, so that will send Scott to the free throw line.
That was Pearl's 4th foul.
A little change up in high school basketball this year. They do fouls by the quarter, and on the 5th team foul, you shoot a 1-on-1.
Yeah.
So
used to be 7.
Used to be 7, and they used to do 7 on the half. Now it's 5 a quarter. Once you get to that 5th foul in the quarter, it's 1-on-1.
Okay. That just happened this year.
Yep.
Wonder what the rationale was with that. Unless you just have to tinker with stuff.
As Peyton Scott, second free throw, no good. Tapped around, controlled by Luke Gilo for the Blue Devils.
Charlevoix just got to slow Gaylord down now, take some air out of the tire. There isn't that much time left in the game.
Right-handed drive by Gilo, left-handed scoop shot, no good. Tapped out back to Lemorado. He'll put it on the deck. Corner, it goes to Connor Fake. Up to Gilo. He's fouled by Troy Nickel. And that is Troy Nichols' 3rd personal foul. Nichols played a really good game defensively tonight, Dennis.
Yeah, he has been working his rear end off out there.
Actually, 4th personal foul against Troy Nickel. He'll be replaced by Hudson Vollmer.
He's had a heck of a game.
It's been the Hudson Vollmer show here in this second quarter. He's the guy that lit the fuse on this Charlevoix run in the 3rd quarter. It was a 5-point deficit at halftime, and the Raiders were up by 6 points.
Oh,
as
that
Gilo,
looked like a charge there.
Gilo got the bucket. No call on the baseline, and stolen away by Peel. He finds Fake for the 3 ball in the corner. Got it! And the Blue Devils not done yet, still showing signs of life, and the Raiders are going to take a timeout. It's a 13-point game with 3 minutes and 49 seconds left to go here. Raiders on top of the Blue Devils. And why we have a second, we're going to tell you about our friends at Bingham Insurance. Listen, just like this game, things happen in life. But Bingham Insurance is here right downtown Charlevoix to help keep you and your family safe for when the unexpected happenings. Get 2 technical fouls and get thrown out of a basketball game, no problem. Bingham Insurance is there. Hit a deer in December, no problem. Bingham Insurance has something for you. That's Bingham Insurance, proud sponsor of Next Level Broadcasting. Coverage of Raider Athletics. That's also a subsidiary of the Auto Owners Insurance Company. Also want to tell you about Charlevoix Auto. Listen, you can head on into Charlevoix Auto right now for some exceptional deals on clear out inventory of 2023 clearance vehicles. Also stop in and vote for and enter your chance to win the 65-inch LED TV that they're raffling off here for the Christmas holiday. That's Charlevoix Auto, proud sponsor of Raider basketball on Next Level Broadcasting. Also want to tell you about Jimmy John's in Gaylord. Listen, for freaky fast meals on the road, sometimes you need to get something for your family heading out to a basketball game. Jimmy John's has you covered. Freaky fast and freaky strong. So strong a tornado couldn't even keep them out of business. That's Jimmy John's in Gaylord. As Ryan Pearl drives in, left-handed layup is good, and that's what the Raiders needed there.
They needed that stopper. Yep, they needed an answer. Time is on Charlevoix's side. They just got to slow Gaylord down a little bit here. They can't be scoring in bunches.
Gilo in the corner, back up to Lemorado. Back to Gilo in the corner for the three-pointer. Just a little bit off. Rebounded by Collins, stolen by Gilo. He's fouled. He'll go to the free throw line.
That was a costly turnover for Charlevoix.
Yeah, they had the rebound.
They had it. They had the rebound and gave it away. Remember that one, folks. That could be a difference here tonight, is that last possession kind of Charlevoix's.
So with 3 minutes and 14 seconds left, Luke Gilo will go to the free throw line.
You can't let Gaylord, well, again, trying to be neutral here, but Gaylord really wants to score points with the clock not running.
Right, and
Gilo missed his first one. That was pretty big.
For the Raiders, the one thing you don't want to do is put the Blue Devils on the free throw line. And if you're the Blue Devils, if you make the second of 2 free throws, it allows you to set up your full court pressure. And Gaylord does just that. And the Blue Devils set up that full court pressure. As Troy Nickel advances to the front court, there's Gaffney with it. He loses it, and it's going to be another turnover.
Yeah, Charlevoix looked down. They're at the top of a 200-foot ladder, and they just looked down.
Right. It's a 14-point game right now. Raiders on top of the Blue Devils. An offensive explosion here in the second half for the Raiders. Blue Devils trying to claw their way back into this one. Gaylord pulls up from 3. Too strong. Fight for the rebound is controlled by the Blue Devils. Lamorato now has it. Gaylord pulls another three-pointer, and that one's off, rebounded by Vollmer. And this could potentially be an opportunity for the Raiders to run some clock. Nice catch by Vollmer.
Catch.
Up ahead to Collins.
Oh,
and man.
Vollmer gets player of the game for that reception.
Vollmer not only with the reception, but the pass before coming down.
Oh, my gracious. That's going to be on TV tonight.
That was an exceptionally athletic play by Hudson Vollmer.
While catching, falling, he manages to get the ball downfield in a huge 2 points.
Yeah, that was a freaky athleticism play. That's the Jimmy Johns freaky athletic play of the game. As it's now a 63-43 game. Once again, Connor Fake has it, and Gaylord was fouled on the cut. So he'll go back to the free throw line. Actually, an offensive foul called against the Blue Devils. That was on Connor Peel.
Yeah.
And he has just fouled out as well.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what was going on there, other than I saw the ref pointing toward Charlevoix's end of the court, which would typically indicate was an offensive foul. So I'm not exactly sure, other than we do know Charlevoix just inbounds the ball.
Inbounded to Joe Gaffney. Gaffney finds Troy Nickel. Nice leaping catch by Nickel, and Nickel will have to get it across the timeline. Bounce pass to Gaffney, and timeout taken by Anthony Troshak with 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Wow.
Man.
What a crazy game. What a crazy way
night
that this game had turned on its head. It was a 5-point lead for the Blue Devils at halftime. The Raiders stormed out of the gate in the third quarter and flipped it on its head, and were up by 4 points heading into the third quarter, and then currently are up by 16 points. It was a 6-0 swing when Aiden Locker for the Blue Devils picked up his 5th foul on a shooting foul. Then he proceeded to get 1 technical and then a 2nd technical. Raiders went to the free throw line and made all 6 foul shots.
Yep, that was huge.
And that 6-point swing, along with like the what just happened kind of emotion.
Yeah, a kid gets thrown out of the game, out of the gym. Never seen that before.
I've seen coaches get ejected.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen spectators get thrown out of the gym, but never a player.
Troy Nickel gets it on the inbound. He'll drive middle. Nickel lays it up and in. And he's got 2 more for the Raiders as they extend it to an 18-point lead. Just over 2 minutes remaining. Connor Fake in and out, dribbled 3-pointers away. No good. Rebounded by Vanderbeer. Back to Lamorato. Corner goes to Gaylord. He'll pull the 3-pointer. He got it. Nice ball movement on the second chance possession by the Blue Devils. Now the Raiders breaking that pressure. Gaffney brings it into the front court, and they're going to pull this thing out, as you said, Dennis. As Ryan Pearl back to Gaffney, and it looks like some of the Raider bench mafia is going to be checking into this one. Fan favorite, homecoming king Braden Greensky, wearing the 22 in white, checks into the game and replaces Ryan Pearl.
Charles, would you have seen this coming after watching that first half? But you talked about this is a Twilight Zone game, man. This is like a doggone Twilight Zone game.
I think 2 things happened in sequential order that made this game what it turned out to be. You had the 3rd personal foul being called against Luke Gaylord with about 11 seconds in the second quarter.
Yep.
And then the way that Hudson Vollmer came out in the third quarter for the Raiders.
On fire.
He had 9 points in about the first 3.5 minutes.
Plus that immaculate reception and pass.
Right, well, that was the fourth quarter, but I just think in the third quarter, Vollmer had 9 and Gaffney had 6. So that's 15 points between two guys in the course of about 6 minutes. That really lit the fuse on this thing today for the Raiders. And inside of that run, Luke Gilo picked up his 4th foul, Dennis. So when you combine all those things, that's where I think the wheels kind of fell off for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, go figure. It's going to be a long bus ride home for the Gaylord Blue Devils. Coach Napont there, I don't know. He's got some silent contemplation going on after this one. And
well, it's one of those things where the Blue Devils were still up 5 points at halftime. So, all things considered, if you told him he'd be up 5 points at halftime, he probably would have took it. As Vitaly Collins has that one tapped. Hudson Vollmer now has it driving inside. He's fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. And, right now for the Raiders, you want to see them start to pull this ball out. You don't really need to continue putting yourself in harm's way. This is a part of the time of the game where you can sprain an ankle.
Yeah.
Or you can, catch an elbow to the face and have to go through concussion protocol.
A lot of bad stuff, you mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Vollmer with an opportunity to get himself over, I believe, 20 points on the ball game with 2 free throws made.
I agree. If we were doing a Culver's Butterburger of the game,
it's got to be Vollmer.
Vollmer was the secret sauce tonight. He found the inner self that was like doggone Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, he channeled some kind of Jackie Chan chi. And
he was like some kind of Star Wars guy.
As Luke Gilo penetrates the lane, he's fouled. And I will say this, Dennis, from watching Luke Gilo play, unfortunately we didn't get to see him play his full given amount of minutes due to that foul trouble. He is as advertised. I mean,
he's a player.
You're talking a legitimate 6'6", 6'7" guy, rangy, can get to the rim when he wants. I'd say one thing for him as he progresses this season, to be a little bit more judicial in his catch and shoot jump shots. Yeah. I think he can get to the rim whenever he wants to.
And that one, I think it was his 3rd foul that he picked up, was an ill-advised foul. It didn't mean anything other than got him one step closer to 4, which we all know put him on the bench for most of the second half.
As that one was fouls called against Noah Vanderveer. Heading to the free throw line for the Raiders will be, let's see here. I believe it's going to be Preston Parrish heading to the free throw line. As I said, foul on Noah Vanderveer.
This is a shocker. You think Gaylord came in here tonight thinking they'd go out a 18-point?
Well, they came in here and had the right approach in the first half. Second shot for Parrish is no good off the backboard, and Gilo in the game right now. 30 seconds left. He'll drive baseline. Euro stepping in off the glass and in. Another basket for Luke Gilo. And I'd say for the Blue Devils, just finding the second scoring option would be huge for them. Gilo's got to shoulder a lot of this scoring load. Finding consistent offense, I think, will be their next question and will be their biggest challenge all season long, as the Raiders are going to take this one 68-52. Hudson Vollmer, our Culver's Butterburger player of the game here, due to his third quarter scoring outburst. And that's going to do it from Charlevoix High School. Raiders take it 68-52. So we had a doubleheader tonight, Dennis, and it's a split. Gaylord Blue Devil girls varsity wins the first one by 3 points. Raider varsity wins it 68-52.
If this wasn't David knocking off Goliath.
Goliath?
Goliath.
Okay.
You get it?
It's late at night. You know, I can see it if it's a late night comedy show.
Yeah, it was like David knocking off Goliath, because they didn't think, Gaylord never thought they'd lose by. I mean, first half, I didn't either. I mean, that kid was good, but I think the pivotal point of the game for him was picking up that third goofy foul.
Yeah, and it was just kind of one of those things where it might have been a frustration foul on his part. And for the Blue Devils, they come out of this one a 16-point defeat. For the Raiders, it's another home win as the Raiders keep stacking those wins.
Undefeated.
This is their third win at home. They'll take on Harbor Springs in a conference clash this Friday night. You can join Shane Smith. Dennis, you'll be back here for that one. Shane will be back on the call for that one as well.
So are you doing Thursday's girls game too?
I believe if it works into Shane's schedule, then we're going to try and make that happen. The girls on Thursday night, I will need to check and see who they'll be taking on Thursday night, but the Raider girls varsity definitely showing signs of promise.
Man, what a great game they had tonight.
After their game tonight, unfortunately came up 3 points short, and that was a very entertaining girls basketball game. If you missed it, it started at 5:30. You can rewind the stream and see the beginning portions of our coverage from Raiderville tonight. So,
hey, this was much better than sitting at home watching the Wheel of Fortune.
I tell you, I mean, if you taped Wheel of Fortune, now you can turn it on.
Yeah, that'd be way too much for me in one night. But I got to tell you, these were two magnificent high school basketball games. This was what it's all about. You know, underdogs. You know, it's hard to argue Charlevoix was underdogs in both these games tonight. Girls almost pulled off the upset. And I'm going to call Charlevoix beating Gaylord. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Gaylord was upset by Charlevoix Raiders tonight.
All right, well, you heard it here there from Dennis Helverson, Charles Trail, Dennis Helverson, Steve Weber, the crew at Next Level Broadcasting. Thanks you for making us a part of your Tuesday night here, December 5th in Northern Michigan. For all of our sponsors tonight, we say thanks, and we'll be back later on this week for more high school basketball on Next Level Broadcasting. Thank you once again, and have a great rest of the night, everyone. Good night.